is oh, do this to them!
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them!
FaZe still in contention though. FaZe up a real possibility.
Really?
I think it really is. Oh no!
Oh no!
It's FaZe down!
No! I'm so
On
sorry.
your face!
I'm so sorry.
Why would you do this to them?
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them! They're dead! Huh?
Oh!
What? Excuse me.
He's waiting out.
Just needs to move forward.
They are out the open. He's waiting for the tree to provide some cover. You can see he wants to move out to the right-hand side here. He's
we
going
go.
for the shots, lines up, the one for top, looks for the knock and action. So far, leaderboard. Lane to the side of those buildings, misses the nade through the window. Struggling to make the entry now into the UMP.
Help! Help! PJ Duello.
Somehow Imperium stays alive for the time being. Oh, Fredo, that's not a good thing at all. Was it Max? Well, Max, how do you like that?
Well, Caleris first.
Yeah, Max. Fine, how do you they're guaranteed a top 4. Attacker and Longs, all but they just might be arriving straight to their doom. A Molotov taking so much damage as well, crossing from Nick with Galaxy effect. Freaking lord, he can never count it. You know, he did. The kill for FaZe. Nice. Fredo's getting like, wait. How? Oh no!
Control of the building, rising.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Nope.
Huh?
No! God! No! God, please, no! Come on!
Probably trying to delay the inevitable. He spotted where all 3 members are, but for him to isolate these fights, getting 1v1s, I don't think they're going to be affording him that. He gets the first knock. Now, he has been tagged quite low. They're trying to confirm the kill, which he will, onto Sir. So I guess that's the best case scenario there for 628. At least get the 1 point, but they will be knocked out as well, joining their Chinese counterparts in the form of Nova.
Because if you look at the team list here, there's one massive team missing. Nova did not qualify into our second Super Weekend, but that worries me, Max. Is this replicating the performance from last year where they didn't qualify? I believe it was the second or third Super Weekend. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they still went on to win the entire event.
Well, I think we've got to stop saying BTR prank, okay? I think that's not valid anymore. I think we've got to start saying this Nova prank that's happening right now, okay? They're just taking a little more of a break, a small vacation before going into that third Super Weekend, which I'm pretty sure they're going to try their best to make it to that tournament. We're still trying to keep that. Paraboy was the top 4 in terms of elimination at the end of the league play, and in terms of overall damage, he was top 3 right behind Action and Top, which are going to be Action and Top after how good of a league play they had. Pretty hard, but the fact that they've not qualified and the Paraboy is that high is so impressive.
A little bit too deep, but this is the opportunity FaZe were looking for, and Tony K run and gun. The Dogs Macabre and Team Secret will be eliminated. Genesis Dogma helping them out, and FaZe Clan third place. Great work for MS Chonburi, and it's all on Stall. It's all on Pika, the 1v4. Looking unlikely, they're pushing in, and they're making quick work of it. For a moment there, Imperium, it's Stall with esports. I've seen them pull off almost 1v4s, but FaZe played that one to perfection.
it is technically the first back-to-back win in a singular day from the team, and it's FaZe able to get it, and they had such a good play from the very start until the very end. They played Ricardo and opens up a world of opportunities in terms of where you want to rotate, how you want to rotate. You go from good high ground position to good high ground position to just maximize the information input.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
PUBG Mobile fans around the world, welcome to the 2021 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. To the top teams across all regions, we have a message for you. The Middle East, you have proven your worth. Now, make your formidable debut on the PMGC stage. South Korea, forget the past. This year, show the world you've ascended. Remind the world of South Korea's raw talent. Japan, you came so close last year. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Bring it back better than ever. The Americas, you're the alpha dogs that dominated the West. Now, lead the pack on the world stage. Southeast Asia, you took down so many strong teams on your journey to the top. It's time for a comeback on the global stage. Europe, it's now or never. Push your limits and surprise us all. This is the moment to create your legacy. South Asia, you were the dark horse of 2020. Amaze those who would underestimate you again. China, you carry the crown of last year's PMGC. Now, with everyone's eyes on you once more, can you secure back-to-back victories? PMGC needs a champion. The world needs a champion. Who will stand victorious in the end? Who will be next to glory?
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
You're not going to miss a moment of exciting PUBG Mobile action because we're back here with day 2 of our final Super Weekend at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 East League. Cannot believe we're almost at the very tail end of the entirety of this whole stage of PMGC with the finals to kick off in January. But you know what? We're here, and it's going to be kicking off in a flying fashion. Speaking of flying fashion, Kalaris and Tarzan both looking good next to me. Kalaris, man, let's talk about yesterday. Enigma Galaxy put up the most points in the lobby, getting 2 chicken dinners. not to mention looking great themselves. Finally, a bounce back as well from what we saw in that first week of League play.
Yes, and I knew it was going to happen, Jason. It doesn't matter about the doubters, Nigma Galaxy. They had a great start. Yes, they might have had that one hard final weekend, but overall, what we saw from them yesterday is definitely where I think that they should be, even though I think that maybe, you know, they're going to have contention up towards the top. So I don't know if they can stack up against Infinity and Stalwart just yet in the grand final of all of this, but that remains to be seen.
All right, well, let's actually take a look at the format. Again, if you guys have missed out on any of the shows, we talk about this every day, so don't worry if you miss out, or if you're just new, we'll go over it yet again, just for you. Yeah, you out there, Howard, I can see you. We have 2 days of League play that lead into our Super Weekend, which happens across, well, the weekend, hence the name Super Weekend. There's 3 days of play, there's 5 matches a day for all the teams. It's the top 16 teams from League play, and as we're into now, it is our top 16 teams from our week 3 of League play. But at the end of each Super Weekend, your points do stick around, they do accumulate across those 3 weeks, and at the end of the 3 weeks, we'll have our top 16 teams in points play in our finals. There's $6 million in the line, or on the line here, in total for West and East, which is happening right after this show for West. And then at the end of that whole shebang, we have our 9 teams from East and our 6 teams from West, and our 1 team coming in from India, who's going to be invited through to all play in the grand finals over in January. I honestly cannot wait to see which team it's going to be from India. We know how passionate Indian fans are, and honestly how strong Indian teams can be, but let's be honest, Tarzan, I mean, in the past we haven't really seen Indian teams excel in the terms of competing against the likes of Southeast Asia. I can't even remember if they've ever really played against Chinese teams other than what was it, Box, if I'm not mistaken, or Top back in 2019.
I mean, it feels like ages ago, and in fact, it is. And right now, it's about whether they can come back, you know, after what seems to be out of practice, right? To see whether they are hungry enough to grab those practice in through scrims and tournaments and see whether they're on par with the world stage. Obviously, the fans are there supporting them, but of course, the other side of the passion sometimes quite a lot of expectation.
I'm not gonna lie, Clarice, I would not want to be the Indian team that gets invited just because of the pressure you're gonna feel from your entire country for this last year of wanting to see Indian teams perform, play on this global stage. A lot of pressure is gonna be there, but to be fair, a lot of pressure for all the teams to perform. And speaking of performing, we've seen quite a few. Stalwart Esports comes to mind, Nigma Galaxy, Infinity. We've seen like these 3 teams, minus the first week for Nigma, just be so consistent this entire event, and that consistency in the lobby of this caliber is so damn hard.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I've said it every single time we've come to these kind of long-form tournaments. When you see this kind of consistency, those are my championship caliber teams. Whether or not they round things out in the grand final down the line, you know, who knows? But they have the best chance. We've seen these guys play against this lobby consistently and looked consistent while doing it, which I think for me, I still sit in the camp of Stalwart Esports. Even though the Infinity and Genesis Dogma have gained themselves more points, I think Stalwart has still just impressed me so much.
Yeah, and give me your honest opinion here, Tarzan, when we take a look at the overall points. I feel like those 3 teams that we've mentioned before, I mean, you could say, oh, they've been consistently good, but I think they've actually been improving, because to be at the top like that every week, it means you're constantly improving, because every other team in the lobby is improving as well.
I think, yeah, that's a very good point. But it's about the relative, you know, growth rate, right? Look at Genesis Dogma, of course, they were very flashy, like through the past week or so, but you can say yesterday was a bit of a slip. So that is where you find it a little bit disappointing. With Stalwart, of course, they've got their small slump, but they're coming back strong, right? And especially on that huge map being Erangel, very, very important. So if they round things off with a win yesterday on that map, today might be another good one.
Yeah, might be another one indeed. And again, we have 5 matches to be played out through the course of today. But let's take stock of things of points, because this is what really matters, right? TJB on 14th place. They have fallen a couple of places here, as Cryptix and Nova had both passed them. We can see FaZe Clan, they're actually currently safe at the moment, as well as BTR. But Deadeye's guys, they've fallen out of top 16. Damwon and the Xavier are trying to chase into that top 16, and pressure's getting there. These teams need to step up here, and they have the chance to climb up, but it's just going to be so hard.
As you say, the one that really needs to have the big step up here for today is Cryptics. Yes, as much as they passed TJB, still only 13 points yesterday really doesn't lend you the best comfort when it comes to teams that did not have a good start to this tournament, like Damwon, etc., and Dead Eyes guys, but they're getting double or triple your points from that previous day. So if they continue that on, there's a very real likelihood here that they would then catch up Cryptics, with the other teams obviously getting some decent points as well below them.
Yeah, pressure's on, and again, that goalpost is going to be so difficult to chase this entire time. And I mean, as we're talking about, Enigma Galaxy before, a team we should also mention and really, give credit to is 4 Rivals, because they have yet to get a chicken dinner this entire event. However, they're in the top 5 overall in Super Weekend points.
2 points behind Stalwart with no chicken dinners. That's crazy. And unfortunately, I mean, Tarzan, yesterday I was trying to pick them and go for the win here eventually, but I mean, it feels like it's all for naught. Even though they're still so good, so consistent, they're still, if you want to be the championship team here, Tarzan, you've got to get yourself chicken dinners as well.
The ability to wrap games up are so important, right? And you can see why they are struggling. Sometimes that transition into late game, and sometimes those adjustments or splits that need to come through, they sometimes just struggle, right? I think that is the reason why. But of course, the start allowed them consistency in getting points, so that ain't too bad. But we need a little bit more from this team.
Yeah, well, Enigma Galaxy taking a look at their stats across all Super Weekends, we can see the KDA. I mean, I'd say, if you're just averaging at least 1 elimination per match, you're doing pretty decent, to be fair. But then you also have Lord on almost 2 across all the Super Weekend matches with the best teams in the world playing here in the East Conference. Like that is even more impressive to me.
And he's significantly ahead in terms of the kills from the rest of the team as well. In total, across the entirety of this tournament thus far, Lord has got himself 73 kills. The closest on his team from that point on is Freak with 50 kills. So Lord is putting in a lot of work here for them. I think Enigma Galaxy falls short slightly of the 3 teams that have these amazing duos like Stalwart, like Infinity, like Genesis Dogma. Enigma is lending a bit more force to Lord here at the moment, and if another person steps up alongside him, maybe they could join that upper echelon.
Yeah, maybe they could. We can see here Erangel, Miramar, Erangel, Sanhok, Erangel once again. Again, it's the exact same format every single day in the Super Weekend, and tomorrow when we do get to our final day of the Super Weekend, it's going to be exactly that. But before we can even talk about that, I want to talk about OnePlus, our sponsor here at PMGC, with its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 99 Pro, your best shot to climb the leaderboards. Don't worry, Tarzan, Claris, I got you this time. I got the whole spiel. You don't have to guess what the final word is. But yeah, so as we move into this one, I'm curious though, in your guys' eyes, Claris, at least you in particular, we talked about Damwon yesterday a bit. You really wanted to talk about them quite a bit, actually. What's your thoughts on them now? Because they have slipped, it seems to be even further down the leaderboard just a bit here and there. And they're not really seeming to improve to the level that we need to see them at if they want to qualify.
Well, you're saying slipped. I think middling is not exactly where they want to be, of course. I think they're in 9th place right now throughout this Super Weekend with 32 points. Now, the important thing for them is that either they have a bit more of a step up compared to that, or some of the teams like Cryptics, for example, continue to struggle a little bit. But you can't leave your fate in somebody else's hands. So Damwon still needs that bit of a step up. We have seen them in the previous league play convert 3 games with podium finishes and 10 kills apiece. We know that they're capable of doing that. We need to see that here in this Super Weekend for them to push up to the safe spots.
The thing with Damwon is when we tracked all the signs of all the types of growth that they had, they kept one for sure, which is phase 1 efficiency, but they kind of regress in the rest when it comes to playstyle and aggression, and that's the problem right now. Yes, they do find some of these survival points for sure, like 2 4th places, 1 3rd place, but we need a little bit more when it comes to how they make use of that macro to maybe control more ground so they come in with a little bit more elimination points.
Okay. What about some other teams? Maybe we should talk a little bit about I almost want to talk about FaZe Clan, and I almost want to talk about Bigatron, just because we've seen FaZe Clan have a huge step up. Like last week in League Play, last week in Super Weekend, this week in League Play, they have been hitting some really consistent numbers. But they've, I feel like, fallen off a little bit here in the Super Weekend. Obviously, we got to see them play with a couple of different people on their team in the past as well. I'm not sure if you had any thoughts about that in particular, Tarzan.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like FaZe is looking slightly better compared to BTR, and sometimes, you know, I feel like there's a huge difference when it comes to what they were trying to do, right? So I don't think the points really showed that difference enough, but when we compare these two teams, you kind of need to mix in all the 6 teams that have only made one Super Weekend before this current one. I tried to do some quick calculations actually when it comes to what's the average point per Super Weekend day, and to see whether they're at least on par with what they've done last time, to see whether they're on track. But unfortunately, only Nova is the team that could repeat that average. If FaZe Clan it's probably the next one, but not really quite there. The rest are just a little bit disappointing. So like, at this rate, they can't even repeat what they've done in the last Super Weekend they attended.
Taurus, any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course these teams are kind of all sat on that bubble right now. Your FaZe Clans, your Biggest your Dead Eyes guys, your Damn Ones. When you look at the overall relative power level of these teams, even if you just didn't watch any of their games at all and just kind of went straight to the fans, I think a lot of them would say your FaZe, your Biggitron, their power level is probably higher according to Vegeta compared to Dead Eyes guys and Damn One, right? So because of that, and because we've seen them being able to put up decent triple-digit, super weekends in the past, a la the previous one, I'm not as concerned for FaZe and Biggitron Red Aliens compared to my Dead Eyes guys and Damn One concern. I think that these two teams can handle the crunch if the crunch comes along, and I think they'll thrive in the crunch.
And speaking of the crunch, actually in particular, I'm like looking towards this crunch in the middle that we do have with some teams. And again, it's only top 9 in the finals that make it through into the grand finals. I'm wondering, like in your guys' eyes, these middle of the pack teams, let's just call some out. 628, Team Secret, DRS, Reject, Rico Infinity, and Nova. Obviously, Nova, I think for me is going to be an outlier here because we know they have insane potential and they won last year. These teams, I mean, I feel like we need to see a little bit more out of them to have like a secure top 9. I can't in my head picture out or pick out a 9 teams that I for sure think would make it in. Besides, obviously, like your Infinity, Genesis, Dogma, Stalwart, for Rivals, Enigma. I think from there on, I'm kind of like unsure of necessarily who's going to make it. What do you guys think these teams need to do, going into the finals actually to have that stand-up performance? Because again, it's just 3 days of play, right? It's 6 matches a day.
Yeah.
You don't have 15 matches a week across 3 weeks now to hit these kind of numbers and to hit some level of consistency.
I think some of these teams have a tough task ahead of them sometimes when it comes to the sample size of the amount of games that they have to play for things that qualify them into next rounds, right? Like, if you think about, for me, if I think about FaZe and Nova, for example, those two teams, when they didn't qualify for Super Weekends, missed it just shy, like a few points here and there. And any team, in my opinion, even if you are the best team in the world, any team can still have a bad 2 days, a bad 1 day, a bad 2 days, and that might, scuff your chances a little bit. I'm still not that concerned too much for teams like that going into the grand finals. I think that Nova and FaZe could quite easily be in that top 9 moving forwards because of what we've seen from them, be it like their power to breach certain locations, their power to split 1-1-1-1 and hold on certain locations. I think it's of a higher skill level right now, maybe compared to some of the teams that might be above them, just because they missed out on a super weekend and might just be behind points. And for me, that doesn't tell the full tale.
Okay, Tarzan?
Yeah, so I think when it comes to team growth, like I mentioned, some teams seems like they figured the way that they play, probably within team dynamics and comms and stuff like that seems okay from what we saw, and they can start to focus on playing around roster, flexibility, expanding repertoire, and reading how other teams play. The middle pack that you're talking about, Jason, I feel like aren't in that space yet. They still have 1 or 2 huge things that they have to fix, and here is where the tricky thing comes in. You need to find out what's really the most important 1 or 2 things, but you also need to determine whether they can be fixed and improved within a short amount of time. I feel like teams like 628, Rico Infinity, for example, that you mentioned, you can really pinpoint 1 or 2 things that they really need to work on, but those things can be changed with some very intentional practice, and I think that is the key thing for this middle pack team, and that will be in accordance to their growth rate, I would say. But like when you talk about the more top teams, as you can see already, they are already toying with other things, and they actually have the luxury to even play the mind game of doing something new to really carry that knock-on effect to maybe disturbing the lobby and coming up with some sort of strategies that we don't know yet in those grand finals.
Okay, I mean, I think One aspect we kind of touched on before, especially when it comes to these teams, and a couple teams in particular, is like this marathon of 15 matches super weekend across 3 weekends, right? But then going into the finals, you have so many limited matches. I'm wondering, in your eyes, do you see a clear difference between in our team list of like teams who are these marathon teams and teams who have these high ups and these low lows? I know we talked about like Nova before. Again, missing a super weekend. So odd, right? 37 points, but Paraboy was still one of the top performing players in the entire lobby of all teams, right? I'm curious, like, do any of these teams stand out in your mind of like, okay, these teams will excel in a shorter format, or they'll actually get punished in a shorter format?
That is a good question. I'm trying to think about the teams. This is like
I'm looking towards 4 rivals, right? Like this, for me, that's one that stands out because they've been super consistent. They get really good placement points, really good eliminations, but they can't seem to close out matches. Exactly.
Yeah, how would it work? I think that's a bigger topic that we can maybe come back to in the day, Jason.
Yep. I don't think we have time to talk about it now, actually, as you just saw the match is about to kick off. So it's time to get into predictions. You know what? Just throw mine up there because it's always going to be pretty much the same team. Infinity, they got me a win yesterday. They're probably going to get me a win today. I'm going to stick with them pretty much the entire time. Colores, what about you?
I'm going to go with FaZe. It's about time we get even just a podium finish, never mind a win from them. They were middling yesterday, but I know them to be better than that.
Yeah, currently in 15th place. Let's see if they can maintain the position. What about you, Tarzan?
Starwood Esports will be my choice. We were waiting for them to bounce back from league play, and they kind of did. I mean, they won the last game, but the other 2 Erangel games weren't too shabby either, so I'm going to stick to them.
I forgot to mention to you both as well, now that you've locked in your picks, is that we cannot pick the same team. Or sorry, we cannot pick a team that we picked already previously in that day. So I can no longer choose Infinity.
Right.
Colores can no longer choose FaZe, and you can no longer choose Stalwart. It is a rule I'm making off the top of my head right here, right now. Hopefully we don't have another remake, but it seems like it'll work out. Speaking of working out, we have John Allen and Blank who've been working out like crazy. Blank telling us some crazy judo stories. Gentlemen, take it away. Poison fingers.
Thank you very much. Blank, have you been telling judo stories again?
I have, yeah. I've been telling the boys about poison fingers, which is what my kung fu teacher told me the other day, and actually employed upon me, so I could see exactly how it worked out. It wasn't fun, I'll put it that way. So I'm hoping that none of these teams have to face the poison fingers, but what they will have to face is this poison plane path. It is not fun whatsoever. Down from Kameshki all the way to Sosnovka. You know, this doesn't really open a lot of spots earlier on for these Western teams. 6 to 8 are going to be struggling to get over there. But I do think that, you know, with this, Infinity's drop spot's going to come very, very late. Luckily for them, so is 6 to 8. So maybe they won't get actually held out so much here, John. That is the real big plus note for them.
Yeah, they should hopefully be in with a better chance there. I mean, you say it's a poison plane path. I feel like there's not too many places that are going to be super isolated. I mean, sure, it's a late drop. But it's a short drop as well towards that Sosnovka military base.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's like it's almost encouraging the Infinity to head down towards Sosnovka. I think they've had a lot more success when they headed to North Georgia, actually. I thought that was a way better spot for them. Again, though, it does mean you're contesting with FaZe, you're contesting with Rico Infinity Team as well as, which I think does make things slightly awkward. So perhaps, you know, just dropping on Sosnovka where you've got this comfortable spot where you've got the boys from Stalwart Esports heading over towards Novo, and then the Infinity heading towards the western side of military base. You do have a clear drop spot, and with them now figuring out that western bridge, maybe this is the better spot to be in. Rejects dropping quite close to that bridge. I imagine they're going to pick up some vehicles. We can see them on the screen right now. Head down towards Ferry Pier. So you do have 2 teams here, but historically, Reject has moved up towards Pachinki in these circles quite early.
Hopefully they'll be able to get a good spot. Yeah, a little bit of a hot drop on the southwest as well on a vehicle there. Not quite on Sarah, but one of the other players of Reject. And actually, it looks like Reject get away with that vehicle away from King as we are looking for it. Oh, I believe we are going to be going back to us. I think we've had a couple of technical issues there, so we're going to be waiting on the result there. I mean, it was a fair start. It was a fair start, Blank, but
it was.
I think we've just had a couple of issues. Looking at that game, though,
just a few.
There's not really too much to draw on.
No, not really. I think everyone went to their pretty much standard drop spots. I think that the one thing that, off the top of my head, with me looking into my brain there, guys, that's how I do it. I have to look towards my brain. Brain, you know, the man in the brown overalls goes to the backside. He picks up the documents, brings them back forward again. It takes a little while for me to, you know, jumble my thoughts back together. But I think the one thing that I did see that was slightly interesting was Cryptix dropping towards Kameshki, basically picking up Team Secret spot. For Cryptix, I don't know if this is the best idea in the world. I think that before we've seen them struggle when they were coming from the very outside of the blue. They've made it work, but again, like if we cast our minds back, John, to that game, literally just last league play where they just about made it into this super weekend off the back of that Sanhok, that was a very dicey game. We'll put it that way. It was one placement point between them and Nova.
Yeah, no, it was very, very close, and I mean, to be here again as well, it's great news for Cryptix, and at such a crucial time in these tables. I mean, we were furiously running numbers just before we went live, and it's all very, very tense. There's a lot of moving parts in these overall standings, right? Towards the bottom of these tables, and the big question is, Tongjiabao, can they hold on to that spot, right? That's sort of what we were looking at. Can they hold on to that spot? There's 5 teams below them. 3 of whom need to pass them for them to be bumped out because they're in 14th place right now.
Yeah, I think that if you are Cryptix, though, you do have to worry slightly. You're 166 points. Yes, you have this super weekend to play, but looking at the names underneath them, FaZe Clan, Bigatron, Damwon, and DXavier, I think all of these teams at the moment are playing fairly damn well. I would say that Damwon Gaming are struggling slightly, so we're back in the game now. Struggling slightly, but honestly, I do think they can get those points. Sana is sitting at like 134 with only 20 of their matches played since they lost the Super Weekend. It's not the worst result in the world for them, to be quite frank. So I think if you're Cryptix, you can't let your foot off the gas, and perhaps sitting over here in Kameshki might be a difficulty for you.
Might be, might be. Do you think today is the day that we see a 4 rivals chicken dinner?
No, I was actually so disappointed after yesterday.
You lost faith entirely.
I have lost the faith entirely. I think they were probably one of our favourite teams towards the beginning of the tournament, and I just loved their dogged determination to stay towards the top of the tables. But I do think that, you know, after yesterday's play on that final Erangel, where they were given, I think that this is my biggest issue, is that they were given so many chances to take their compound off the hands of Reject, yet didn't take any. And to me, that just shouts a lack of confidence. Like it's screaming it off the rooftops, or at least in this case, whispering it, because they're so shy to make any of these plays. So I'm struggling to still have faith in this team anymore, because I just don't think they have any faith in themselves.
Ooh, Nova swinging a little bit close to danger there. Next to Reject, 4 rivals over on the box compound. Only 1 outpost here, actually very isolated. FaZe looking to potentially cross here. I didn't catch where the circle came down blank either, so we'll have to wait for that one. But it looks like these rotations probably looking to regroup for the 4 rivals. Split over the river.
Yeah, well, I believe this is still the same game that we're in. We just took a quick break to check out our beautiful faces, John. Well, mainly your face, because you're looking pretty today, dude. I'll tell you that now. So I think it was quite a central circle. I don't think anyone's got too many difficulties with it, especially where it's towards Pachinki side. Enigma Galaxy on our screen, though, John. I want to talk about this team a little bit more because...
Go on, then.
Yesterday was some of the best PUBG Mobile I've seen from a team in a long time. And I think it's one of those cases of being so consistent. Now, I think 2 chicken dinners off the same back, in my opinion, is easier to do than a chicken dinner later on in the day, because you get those 2 chicken dinners, you know, feeling hot off that last game. You're ready to take on the world. When you don't get the second chicken dinner on the second game, like, you've got to make some adaptations. You've got to make them quickly. You're like, well, what's not working? What can we figure out? And then getting another one later on, that just speaks volumes of a team being able to continue that kind of momentum that they started in the beginning of the day, regardless of whether, you know, things don't go well for them in their next game. So I think for me, right now, Enigma Galaxy is really putting their stamp here on the Super Weekend.
And Blank, they have 5 chicken dinners in the Super Weekend, so they absolutely have been making that mark. That's the most of any team in the tournament right now, with the Infinity being second place to them, obviously, even though they're at the top of the tables. It's Enigma Galaxy down in 5th, sure, but I mean, that's pretty insane in its own right. Being able to swipe away 5 chicken dinners of these 35 games that we're playing, that's a pretty solid percentage. What's that, 1/7? I don't know what that is as a percentage, but there you go. That's what it is. 100%.
That's what it is. That is what it is. I mean, these guys are the chicken dinner dukes at the moment. They're looking strong. They're looking good, lording themselves over the rest of this lobby. The Infinity come into contact with Reject. Now, I didn't think that this would be something that would be coming into play, but Infinity have moved to the bridge nice and early. Reject, however, they're here waiting for them. They're just outside of the warehouses. Newsy taking shots. Duello gets a nice flank in here, John.
They managed to take care of the off angle. Infinity open up onto Reject, but Newsy's traded out. Now, starting to open that smoke line. They want to get back to their teammate. Mela careens into danger, gets sprayed down as the buggy tumbles away from beneath his feet. And Logan left lagging. Dog Tunny getting out of there. Yeah, they don't even want the rest of this fight by the looks of things, Blank. I mean, maybe they're going to come back in to try and regroup, but with Mela down out in the open, you have to wonder, how feasible is this? Are they just going to try and blink away at Sarah's health bar and get away with that one elimination, or are they going to try and save their teammate here?
If Mela can get back across, I imagine they'll disengage this fight, but from the majority of times we've seen these fights with the Infinity, the way it usually goes, if God Tunny is still alive and has that anchor position, Logan will back off and then potentially just leave in the vehicle. They don't tend to extend these fights any longer. The Infinity is all about getting points where they can, so I think as soon as they get Mela up, this will be a disengage from the Infinity. I don't expect them to continue this fight, and I think it's what makes them such a good finals team, is that they're all about continuing to get points across. Divine, though, with the nade in hand, he's been looking good today.
Oh, he's very close to a lot of the Infinity right now. The nade not quite landing. God Tunny, though, knows exactly what he's dealing with, but can't quite land the shots around the side. There's teammates to back him up, though. The res onto Mela was good. Logan looks for the drop shot, but it's only a sliver of HP. Keeps Reject swinging. All 4 of them now standing. Mela back into the fray. God Tunny sends out wide, and Divine's there to deal with, but Duello pushes onto the core, swings into the container, gets one, doesn't look for the flush. He's got more pressing issues, and Logan finds out all about it. Duello finding the 2, getting the 2-piece, and now the nade comes in, and it's God Tunny with furious anger, moving back through the Valley of Death. Reject now suffering. Sarah, nade in hand, has to be careful, pulls out the gun, and he's finally able to take care of business.
And it seems to me that Reject are the shepherds herding themselves away from danger there. Really well played to Reject. I think that was a sloppy fight coming through from the Infinity. Little information to no information from Newsy given, which means Mela jumps out straight into action and then immediately gets taken down. And I think that same thing happens there towards the end. Mela immediately just gets back up again and runs straight out into the open. So the Infinity, weird start today for me, but I will say that was a sloppy fight. Bigatron Zuxi in the US, trying to careen out of danger, but Satar's got the bead. We'll move away. Now, I really would love to see whereabouts the players from Genesis Dogma currently are sat right now, because I do think that one problem I did have with Genesis Dogma before was the fact they were playing so split, whereas I think their playstyle much more favors the fact that they have that team play. 6-8 now, coming to bat against Reject. Sarah immediately down now, just Ragey, Osio, and Divine remaining.
6-8 looking to pick up the pieces on the back of a difficult fight for Reject, and they will be able to find all of those eliminations. 3 defeats now. As Reject go down 15th, I mean, sure, they get the points against the Infinity, but you do not want to come across 6-8 in this scenario. Luckily for Reject, I feel like they're already safe on their points totals alone in this scenario. 217 overall with more to play. I mean, they're past that 200-point barrier that I said was looking really quite safe for a lot of these teams. So they don't have to worry too much. At this point, I feel like a couple of these teams are moving more into scrim mode.
Yeah, I would say so as well, John. I think that some of these teams are just looking to get some more experience. For Reject, taking that fight down there is important to them because it's something that they know that they will encounter in the finals. And I think that 200-point barrier for Reject really was that big hurdle for them. The fact they've got past it, and I would say at this point in time, have pretty much secured their position in the finals is fantastic. And it's great to see Reject making it through. I think back when we saw them in PMGC, last PMGC, they felt very lackluster. But here now, there is a lot of strength behind this team, and it's great to see. Cryptics, though, I like this rotation. Interesting rotation. They're coming up across the top of Severny, just underneath shooting range at the moment. Going to probably head in behind Hospital and possibly hit those Gatka fields. That might be the play to go for. I think if you've been reading this map recently, you know that FaZe is going to be on top of Everest, or at least on the other side, and taking that fight with them is not going to be ideal. So I think swinging past Hospital would be the optimal rotation in this position, but we will check back in with that one later.
To Xavier atop Potato Hill, MS Chonburi swimming around, getting their recon done. Jasper doing a little bit more than that, actually sending a little bit maybe too close to danger. Xavier quite in position to capitalize here. Xavier, one of the crucial teams that Tong Jiabao are going to be looking at today. At the bottom of the tables right now. They want to get as many points on the board as they can. 129 points at the start of today. Blank, that can only go up, but it needs to go up a little bit more if they want to be seeing themselves towards those finals.
Absolutely, John. I think for yesterday, it wasn't the worst of days coming out for them. 23 points is still slightly lacking. I think they do need slightly more points there. But I do think that Xavier is not a team that is down and out yet. I'm a big fan of Frankie, big fan of Lamborghini. I want to see these two succeed because we've seen them in the scene for quite a long time. And they were known as very, very good players. I think Xavier's just been down their luck at the moment. Their drop spots have put them in position with a lot of good teams. And when they were playing Sanhoks, getting completely shunted out by Rico Infinity teams quite a few times was awkward for them, to say the least. But they maneuvered past that tricky situation, moving towards the eastern side of the map there. So there are adjustments being made slowly but surely for this team. But again, they're definitely looking for a lifeline at this point. Set at 129 points behind that 163. It's quite a few points they do need to jump up over that, but there are so many teams in front of them could get even more than 164, and I think that's the issue. They're really, really playing catch up at the moment.
That's the thing, right? It's the teams that are in the top 16 that can play a little bit more defensively. So that's FaZe and Bigatron, who are really kind of the teams most at danger. I mean, you mentioned Cryptics as well being in danger, sort of just a little bit over Tong Jiabao at the moment. But then it's Deadeye's guys, Damwon, Kia, and Xavier, so they're all chasing. And I feel like that puts the onus more on them to be proactive in these scenarios, which can sometimes come back to bite you, right? If you're taking aggressive fights, unless you can, on average, win more than you lose, it's not a good idea. Well, maybe not win more than you lose, but win enough to make the play worth it.
Yeah, and for Xavier here, we've got to put it aside that yesterday was a massive change of fashion. I mean, Nigma Galaxy finished the day with 83 points total is a ridiculous number to finish a singular day of Super Weekend on. But for Xavier, to see themselves very safe, it's kind of like a 40-point day average. So you're looking at like 8 points a game. Not the worst thing in the world. Bigatron, though, taking down Nigma Galaxy first player, only taking one knock is good. It's a good start.
But the fact that Nigma Galaxy were able to refrag that is incredible. I mean, I feel like that's an achievement. Sure, they probably aren't going to be able to get that flush, but I feel like, you know what, credit to them. They were on the bead. And it looks like, hang on a minute, was that the second knock as well? Nigma Galaxy gets the finish over the top. So there we go. They managed to get the finish. The flush comes through. 4 rivals now in a fight with FaZe. Tony K trying to flee around the side, does get knocked. All the retribution there, but Beer 11 falls as well. And 4 rivals, they're looking disciplined today, Blank.
This happened yesterday as well, with 4 rivals being able to take down one of these stronger teams in Nova, and then they kind of crumbled later on. I do think this happens to 4 rivals. I think their initial team fight is good, which is so surprising, right? Because you see them in these fights and you're like, wow, okay, this looks nice. And then there is just this stagnation towards those final 10 minutes of the game, which I find a little bit displeasing to watch at times.
You know what? We have a name for this, right? It's the Chocolate Frog team. They're chocolate frogging.
It's true.
Right now.
They are chocolate frogging.
That's what they're doing. They have one good leap in them, and after that, seem to slow down a little bit.
And it's something that does confuse me as well, because you see that initial fight and you think, wow, that's really good. Well, let's take a look at this, because this is extremely important. With Xavier already taking 2 knocks, now it's a difficult push for DXavier to get into Pachinki. Yes, they've taken that hillside though, which will see them safe for the time being. Taking that wizard tower below as well is a really good start to a Pachinki push. But we're definitely not centered on Pachinki yet, so there's no guarantee that we're going to end here, John. So DXavier do need to play this safe. But again, taking Chapel, it gives you ample opportunity to actually leave this area should you need to. Whereas at the moment it's Nigma Galaxy and I would say as well as Genesis Dogma who are being kind of locked into Pachinki at the moment.
Yeah, I think my favorite position in this lobby right now has to go to 628. I feel like they have a really solid position not only for this circle but to rotate towards other circles. They control a lot of the ground pushing south out of Pachinki, which is where a lot of those teams are probably going to have to leave. And those teams in the north have a lot more contestation. So I feel like if I had to choose a team right now, it'd be 628 on the south side.
Yeah, and they do go for these strange splits though. I mean, Dao Shi walking up towards that northwest side, it's good for scouting. I mean, with this northwest circle, they've actually had a position where they've scouted early and they're able to move. And I think one of the things that you've got to consider here is how quickly 628 jumped into those vehicles. 628, it seems to be a very flaky team, but they're ones with their wits about them. And I'll put it that way because whenever I see them play, it's like smart plays. And then once they get into fights, they're so aggressive. It's so messy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I do still have faith in this team. And that feels weird to me considering how strangely I've seen them play before.
MS John Burry take the compound on the west side of this hard shift. And it feels like a good spot for them as well. It is a very hard shift as well, Blank. So they have done well to skirt down on the western side. Although you have to wonder if this circle hadn't been as hard of a shift, they probably would have been up the creek. You know, they would have had a pretty difficult time of things. But as it stands, they've managed to transition that over to having a lot of strength here now.
Yeah, I think that it would have been a push that would have left them feeling a little bit heavy towards that end. Genesis Dogma takes down Realm from Nigma Galaxy, and I think at this point in time for Genesis Dogma, it's about clearing a lot of these threats in Pachinki before leaving. Luckily, they are on the south side, and the south side of the map was cleared up by 628, so they do have an opportunity to leave now, because that's no longer being guarded. Damwon Gaming, another team that has to really put up the numbers here today to get in towards that top 16, currently sat down towards, I believe it is in 18th place, just above DXavier, 134 points. We have seen them get a couple of better games. You know, we all, and I'm going to keep bringing it up, we all remember that amazing song play where he stole the chicken dinner away from Bigatron on Sanhok. However, I think that there have been some more deserved plays coming through from this team this Super Weekend, looking much, much stronger and much more realized as a team.
Look at this. This is the feeling of when you don't move early enough for DXavier. They just watched Rico Infinity Team take a position that they were probably looking to go towards. And I feel like they had ample opportunity to make this maneuver earlier. They didn't quite take it. Nova a little bit further through, but that warehouse now fully occupied by Rico Infinity Team.
I think you could kind of excuse DXavier's late push here, considering they had a few knocks come through from Nigma Galaxy as well as Genesis Dogma as they were pushing up to the chapel to regroup. So it's something that has occurred because of earlier pushes. Scry goes down to one of the players from DXavier, which will be a little bit unlucky for Stalwart as they've come up from Novo's side. Scry down though, and now only being able to send out a few of the players forward. Luckily able to skirt immediately past this fight between 4 Rivals and Nigma Galaxy. Trust 4 Rivals now to stand up. After I said I don't have faith in them anymore. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need to be down there, look, no pressure on their shoulders to perform.
Maybe that's the case. I mean, as you say, though, there is very little pressure. There are 302 points. I mean, they're one of the teams that I'm looking at as they have qualified, and they can move to scrims, a couple of nades down the top, and Genesis Dogma take down Deadeye's guys. And that is good news for Tong Jiabao, Blank. That's bad news for Deadeye's guys, but it's good news for Tong Jiabao. Deadeye's guys are one of those teams chasing right now. And Nigma Galaxy get eliminated in the meantime. They tried to move past the outpost for 4 Rivals, the Scout, but they couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, oh goodness me, this is really difficult for so many of these teams at the moment. Wow. Anas is able to take down Frankie with a nicely exploded vehicle there. So DXavier really on rough times at the moment. Rabiz is able to heal up. Lamborghini taking shots as well, but they're so close to Damwon Gaming. Both of these teams don't want to go out, and they're kind of head-to-head against one another. Cryptics, though, able to make a good push. And I'm very proud of this push coming down from that western side of the map, able to get into position. But MS Chumbury is certainly in a good spot. But Cryptics slightly more into the circle, gives them more time to work.
Oh no, 33Z, the last lifeline now for Stalwart. No, not Stalwart, 628, sorry. But they aren't going to be able to find it. Bigatron are down and out in the field as well. Nova were moving out that way. It was a difficult shift, and Blank, this circle has probably turned into disaster from MS Chonburi to absolute euphoria right now. The circle shifted twice hard west towards their position.
These guys are on a circle high, we'll put it that way. They're happy, happy boys at the moment, sat in that compound, able to take shots towards absolutely everyone, considering this is such open ground as well, but a lot of fields still in it. Like, there is so much opportunity for them to take shots towards other teams coming into this circle and kind of eliminate the opposition before they can even get close.
All rivals, Rico Infinity team down one gear as well. Gonna have to move in from the eastern side. Genesis Dogma managed to skirt a little bit south. They can move a little bit later. And Baru, you can't hang around too long. This is 5th zone. This blue zone will hurt. Into the buggies. They load up. The rotations are starting to come through. King on the outpost, probably spotted here. And the rest of Nova, well, they're nowhere to be seen. They are, well, there's one more player still going. Jimmy's all the way out by the roadside.
It does have a position for potentially someone to regroup with him, and does King, but I think Jimmy getting through this compound is going to be difficult. Rico Infinity team drop onto Cryptic's location, but get cut down in the process. Bigatron taking shots towards Genesis Dogma now, able to get all players back up on their feet and ready to go. Bigatron knowing that this game is so important for them. Phase down to just one player, 0 points accrued. Damwon Gaming still in it with Junie, wants to see how far he can get. Even a top 6 placing would be good for Damwon Gaming. Just getting those points slowly but surely is better than nothing. And considering a lot of the teams that are opposed to you being going out so early, this is a great time for Damwon Gaming to start catching up.
I mean, this is 3 of the teams at the bottom of the table still in for the final 9, but those numbers can drop very, very fast as Jimmy gets isolated and taken down. 4 rivals. They have the ground floor. They have the player knocked as well. They need to be careful of. Nate's not quite finding the window there for Pimbaru. Finding the flush. Ground floor. He tries to push in, but that is not going to go the way you think it is. In through the window and looking for more as well. 2 spray downs as Cryptics move on out. They go for the aggressive push out through the windows. Pimbaru in the smoke, hits the deck, and will fall down to a cheeky shot. Coming across the way, and it's 4 rivals eliminated.
Out of the game, not able to make it happen. Again, it's a dip. That seems strange to me. Again, yesterday we saw that warehouse. That would have been an easier push to go for. And you try and hit one of the hardest compounds to hold, actually take in this circle. Not easily breachable, and Cryptics are able to hold on to it nicely there. So with this game, and if Cryptics continue to do well, you know, Cryptics might be able to put themselves in a position which is much more comfortable. Damwon Gaming, though, 7 elims so far. A really good game and still running strong with Junie. But Bigatron, they need to push into the circle onto Genesis Dogma. So far, 1 knock comes through and 1 flush on top of it, taken away by Cryptics.
There's quite a gap between Bigatron and Damwon Kia, right? Well, I say quite a gap. There's about 13 points. Well, there are 13 points between them at the start of this game, with Bigatron in the lead. So if they can keep on tally with Damwon Kia, they are good to hold it out. But if they go down early like this is not good news. Bad for business. Even if they do manage to get a whole bunch of kills on board as well. Zuxi, last standing alive, hiding, hunkering in that smoke, looks for the sprays, and Genesis Dogma, coming a cropper, will get eliminated. A respite breath for Bigatron.
Yeah, and honestly, though, at this point in time, they have to pray for a Southern Circle shift. Because the issue of holding such a strong compound like this for Cryptics is that they have such good sight lines. And all these other teams are going to come a cropper underneath this because they're able to just watch out. No one's really able to take shots back at them. But now MS Chumbury moving up towards this compound. They understand how strong it is. And in the midst of all the chaos, they've actually slipped unaware into the compounds behind them. Ventura's still moving through though, with Nade behind. You know, he's looking to stay alive in this circle, but that Nade might give him away.
Maybe. But was it just the thought that, oh, it's one of these other teams throwing a nade at us? You know, it's under cover of gunfire. Jasper, oh, right on top.
He's owning them.
He is. 2 down now for MS Chonburi, and he starts to move through. Bigatron in the south side of the field, just hoping that they can stay alive. Vintorres does go down, but MS Chonburi, they have been stymied. The hamstring comes through on the back. And now Cryptics onto MS Chonburi onto Bigatron commanding the field. Blank, this has turned around for them.
This is really good. Finally, King goes down, but there's a reason we call this guy the King Cobra in last PMGC. He's such a good snake player, and getting up to 4th place is not bad for Nova. Not that they need the points anyway, but this game for Bigatron, so incredibly important. And being able to control these fields versus the guys from MS Chonburi and Cryptics is a great start for them. And honestly, these guys have to leave, and in a fight between themselves, Bigatron can kind of pick up the pieces afterwards and put all those pieces back in the chessboard.
They need to be proactive, though. You can see them starting to move through, but it's Cryptics to start out the fight well. They're getting sprayed down across the way. They eliminate their competition in the compound, bring them up to 2nd, but Bigatron have every opportunity to move with tempo. They have the advantage on the timing. 2 players very low from Cryptics, and they are just going to keep on falling. Yuhai swings out wide, and Bigatron really want to get into these finals. Blank not going to go out without a fight. Yuhai pushes through, dodging the bullets every which way. Lazy Boy goes down as Yuhai Boy rolls through the compound. Bigatron takes the chicken dinner.
Goodness me. Bigatron there, Yuhai looking like a lorry as he rolled past these guys, ran them all down. Really, really well played to Bigatron. That's a hard game. That's a hard game, John, to win, honestly. And I think Bigatron can give themselves a massive clap on the back there, because that was a fantastic game to start the day off. And that is the key thing. Starting the day off strong is one of the most difficult things to do if you're down your luck and you're towards the bottom of the standings. So for Bigatron, they've really put up the numbers now, and they feel so much safer. With one more day left to play as well for Bigatron now, this is a really good spot to be in. And this is why we never count Bigatron out. And it's why I was so hesitant to say towards the beginning of the tournament, like, Bigatron are done. They're dusted. No, they're not. They're never done. It feels like Bigatron just constantly improve as tournaments go on. And honestly, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. They seem to have, well, certainly in this game, they found that cohesion. The question for me, Blank, and I know you didn't want to say it towards the start of the tournament, but it did feel a little bit like they weren't quite at the form that we're used to seeing from them. The question for me is, are they back on form, or was this a little bit one of those fluke performances where everything just falls into place this one time around? Is it the death rattle coming through, or are they actually back on form? They need to prove their consistency, and they need to get into these finals, right? I mean, that's a massive point-scoring game. Sure, they started that game on 147 points, right? And that will send them up to actually pretty close to, I believe, around that 180 mark. So they should be a little bit more hopeful. The question is, can they keep it going?
Yeah, now what I will say to you, John, to answer your question very quickly, I don't think Bigatron's back on form yet. Nowhere near the likes of how good they were before. But I think they're finding this winning formula now. With Liquid on the team and the 3 guys in the front, this is good. And it's kind of more similar to what we saw them play before.
Hopefully it is. Hopefully they are back on form to the Bigatron of old, champions in their own right. We'll have to wait and see, though. We've got plenty more to play. We're heading back over to the desk.
Exactly, plenty more to play, and also a lot of opportunities to show if Bigatron can hit that form of old that you were just talking about, Blake and John. Welcome back here to the desk with Kalaris and Professor Tarzan. And gentlemen, honestly, there's a lot to really break down here. There's a couple different teams you want to talk about in particular, but let's start off with Bigatron. Talk to me about how this match went for them here, Kalaris.
Yeah, it was the most important moments for them is the fight against 628 down in the south, right? I think obviously we had so many teams committing to Pachinki, and that is fraught with danger, especially when you get 2 hard shifts in the opposite direction. But Bigatron did what Bigatron needed to do. They bail out the back of Pachinki and wrap wide. That's one of the only safer ways that you can actually get out of that situation. They did that. And if they don't win that fight against 628, and it came down to the wire, right, Tarzan? I think it was Yuhai that clutched it out for them. Yuhai was just playing a monster of a game.
Big time. And you can see when it comes to allocation resources as well, like for that drop, they would allow him to get the growth to really get the job done, and he really delivered in that final circle. I should say they didn't have a spot in the circle, but they did, of course, a sensible thing. They noticed the action happening inside of the circle and took that time to enter and third party that before the reset happened. So that was a good one. I think the most impressive bit, other than the 6-8 fight, was they know how to get out of Pachinki, being the first team that really crashed into it on top of Neighbor Galaxy, who dropped there. So they when they know how to leave that town, then I'm kind of okay with that, because we sometimes are not huge fans of teams really going into Pachinki quite early.
Yeah, and really quickly, I just want to talk about Cryptics here. I mean, 15 eliminations, 12 placement points. Like for them, as we were talking about, Cars, you mentioned me, they had a perfect compound to deal with this. The new people would be coming to them, but still having the perfect position is great and all, but you have to be able to capitalize off it, as we talked before. And for 15 elims from this team, that's a fantastic showing.
Yeah, it was, you're right, in the sense that it was the perfect opportunity for them to put up numbers. And speaking of numbers, damn, Junie, you know, like the fact that we wanted Damwon Kia as well to have a step up in the right direction. I think they got themselves, what, 7 elims during this, Jason? Which is teetering towards that 10 eliminations magic number that I was hoping for them. And considering the survivability here from Uni as well, I think that there was even more potential for Damwon Kia in this game too. As those fights are going down in the compound with Cryptics, and I think 4 rivals crashed onto them, that's the perfect chance for you to make a bit of a move whilst everyone's distracted near you. But it wasn't to be here for Damwon.
With Damwon, we're worried that they're not willing to take the punch. Now, when it comes to growth, they need to learn how to take punches or deal damage without punching through glass. And I think this is what we want to see, but this is still a good step up.
What does that mean, do damage without punching through glass?
So that you don't hurt yourself at the same time.
Wait a minute. Okay, sorry, we're not going to show it, I don't think, Jason, but Senku from Cryptic got 10 kills in this game. 10 kills! Like, he was putting in massive work. Oh, wait, no, I think we are going to show it. Never mind. You know what, Jason? Spoiler, nothing happened.
That's fine. I wasn't listening to you anyways, to be completely honest. No, let's I mean, also for Damwon really quickly, as we've been talking about before, like, yeah, they can play for placements. They had one chicken dinner that stands out in my mind, was Sung just staking away over on Sanhok. But again, like, we need that sweet marriage, and to see teams step up right here, right now, when it comes down to crunch time is phenomenal. And speaking of phenomenal, you guys at home can get some permanent items unlocked if you get the treasure box from watching within the Esports Center or here on YouTube. And not to mention, you can click down below the stream here on YouTube and click the rewards button to get extra tokens to unlock a permanent item. Not to mention, after that, starting on the 22nd, because this one, the previous one, runs until the 21st, you have even more chances and more items to get. So make sure you guys are doing that. Also, some special rewards. Oh, that's been updated. It was just a Google Play and the Amazon Pay gift card, but now we got some other little sweet things in there for you. So make sure you're watching between the 22nd and 13th as well, because you can get some even more rewards. Now, you said, I know which item you want to get, Claris, but Tarzan, if your choice here, what would you take?
The pan. I like pan skins. I don't know why. It's more like if they're flashy, they make you feel like, oh, I found the guy, we can really shoot him down. But of course, you can't do much through the pan. So I find that quite interesting.
Okay, all right. Well, Miramar's coming up next. I find that interesting, as we do have, obviously, Reject performing so well on it before, but Reject was out. Actually, sorry, they eliminated my choice of Infinity in the last match. They made me a little bit sad. But we do have a question for you guys we want you guys to talk about in chat. Who is your breakout player in performance here in this event so far? I almost, for me personally, I almost want to say Paraboy, but it's hard to say Paraboy and breakout player in the same kind of sentence. But the fact is, of his team in that League Play Week 2 of just performing at 37 points, and he was still #1 in like damage and eliminations, that to me is like really stand out. But then again, you got Newsy, you got Action Top. Who am I missing here? There's some other names.
There's so many good ones, right? Newsy, Godtunny, Daybot, Ponzai. There's too many good ones.
Yeah, too many good ones.
I'll go with Yuhai.
I
go with Yuhai from like comparative to the rest of the team. Yeah, that's the thing with the word breakout.
But you know what? We'll think about this in the break. And when we come back, we have our next match of the day ready to go. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, but this will make it big for Samnot if they can get the chicken dinner. Now we're seeing a lot more information here. What? What? He got back in! He got back in! Samnot with chicken dinner! What?
Really is a... Oh! Do this to them!
I'm so sorry!
You've killed them! Look at them!
FaZe still in contention though. FaZe up a real possibility.
Really?
I think it really is. Oh no!
Oh no!
It's FaZe down!
No, I'm so sorry.
On your face!
I'm so sorry.
Why would you do this to them?
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them! They're dead!
Huh?
Oh!
Excuse me.
He's waiting out.
Just needs
They
to
are-
move forward.
They are out in the open. He's waiting for the tree to provide some cover because he wants to move out to the right-hand side here. He's
we
going
go.
for the shots, lines up, the one for top, looks for the knock, and action.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you give us your thoughts about the standout player when it comes to this event so far. But again, we still have time to do that. Not to mention, you could even mention teams and players from the West League. Though, let's be honest, the East League teams are good at best. All right, take that mustache, Dave. We got Miramar coming up next, followed by Erangel. And, well, you guys can read the rest. I don't need to read it word for word. But Miramar, the only time we'll see it over the course of today. Now, Blake and John were talking about Bigatron. Talking about returning towards that earlier form. Now, I don't know the time frame they're discussing when it comes to earlier form. I don't know if this means over the last 2 years. Obviously, when they took their last tournament win when it came to Malaysia for the PMCO Global Fall Split Finals, or if it is in more recent times. But one thing is for sure, at least for me, Tarzan, is that High Boy is a phenomenal addition to the team. We saw in that last match alone the impact he can have. I think for me, it's about Bigatron playing around him a little bit more and letting him be the superstar of the team instead of the usual, Ryzen, Zuxi, Luxi.
Yeah, I think it's lovely to see them finding a new dynamics within the team. I mean, it's very hard to imagine them not playing with Ryzen if we're just going back 2-3 months ago, and now they are allowing themselves to trust Yuhai. But why wouldn't they? He's been the player who has been holding down the fort when things were about to get blown away. So I think that's a sensible thing to do, and I love that is working out.
Whoa! Whoa! You see this, Clars? Oh!
Whoa!
My gosh!
I'm very surprised. 10 kills for Senke. 10 eliminations. Wow! I can't believe it, Jason. That's the end of that segment.
Okay. Well, we can see throwables used. Yuhai didn't have that many throwables because he was too busy getting eliminations and saving his team there. But really slotting in well. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, looking at BTR here, of course, there was the extra problem, right? Okay, they dealt with S628 very, very nicely. Then the circle shifts north where all that fighting is going on. This is the perfect opportunity for BTR to push up while those fights are occurring. And I've got to reiterate what Tarzan said here. Yuhai is looking brilliant. I was surprised that he was technically a sub at the beginning of this tournament because when he came in, he was performing better than the rest of the roster. Here, give him this Groza, let him pop off. I think he's a fantastic addition.
Yeah, fantastic indeed. And really quickly here, Tarzan, before you jump into it, Claris, remember, we got to start thinking about predictions here coming up before we head into the match. So you might need to really hammer home your thoughts. Go ahead, Tarzan.
Yeah, I was about to say whether that was enough for Kalaris to pick BTR to win this one. I mean, we would be very happy.
How about we pick it for him?
Let's go. Why not? A back-to-back. Let's do that. He said so much nice things about it. Yes, Kalaris is picking BTR. We've done it to some other people. So yeah, I think it's actually a decent choice. I don't know. It's down to production now, and I want to talk about this Nicked map as well. When it comes to BTR, they've made some changes. Obviously, we have not played, without teams like Team Secret for a while. So the Eastern dynamics that we see maybe around Christopher and stuff will still continue to intrigue me.
Okay, well, really quickly, while we do take some time here to get our predictions in and get some time for everyone to think, I'll give mine first off the bat. I'll go with FaZe because I chose Infinity first in the first match. I can no longer choose them anymore, and they went out in 16th place. So let's see if I have the curse today. Tarzan, who is your choice?
Enigma Galaxy. I know it's rare that they were doing well on Miramar, but yesterday was the case, so let's see a repeat.
Claris, who did you choose? And I'm curious if your prediction is actually going to be what comes up.
Yeah, so am I actually. I guess I'm going with rejects. Let's see if this has tested them. I was really late. Oh, wait, well done. You guys are
well
the best.
done.
And I'm useless. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll see how useless the picks will be here as we head to our commentators of John, Allen, and Blake.
Hopefully a little less than fully useless. We'll put it that way. Blank. I feel like that's how I live my life. Hopefully a little less than fully useless.
Well, the Claris may have got the reject on his screen, but I know that actually he predicted FaZe. So, you know, that's Claris' prediction now, FaZe. Let's see how they do here on Miramar. I think that, you know, it's a good prediction to go for is FaZe here on Miramar, considering how strong they have been before. Once they get a decent spot around the map, they actually hold it to perfection. So, you know, Claris, nice FaZe prediction, bro.
There we go. We love to see it. Love to see it. We'll see if they can jump on up over the Tongjiabao benchmark, right? That's sort of what we've been tracking in terms of those points so far today. Obviously, there's still 2 days left of this Super Weekend. Well, it's getting a little bit less now. So we played that first game. But FaZe in 16th place. If they can get above Tongjiabao, that'll be a little bit safer for them. They're very close to doing so. 6 points is all they need.
6 points is all they need to get in. So we will see if they can make it. Ooh, he's got the June parachute, especially here on Miramar. That makes sense. No huge worms though running around amok, so that's lucky.
Oh, you never know.
Look at baby Godzilla. Where's his parachute? He just meant to do a Superman landing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just how it is.
Little tiny hands on the floor and little knee.
Sure, for sure. Well, 4 rivals snag a vehicle. Hopefully the guns aren't going to be too voracious, vociferous towards them. The UMP spray dart. It's on target, to be fair. You could hear the clink-clank of...
But it is a UMP.
Lead on. I guess that's a steel-sided vehicle. I'm not sure. It might be a little bit newer. It might be aluminium body. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't done the research.
Well, you better get on it. Fast. Deadeye, guys. Deadeyes, guys. Not dead yet. Over towards the eastern side of the map around Genesis Dogma and Bigatron's position. These guys need to get a move on. We need to see more out of Deadeyes, guys, honestly. So for me, sat at 143 points, you know, there is still room to pick up those points in the first place. So you're going out all the time. It's bad. It's very bad.
It's true. It's not good. It's bad for business, as you say. So we'll hopefully have a little bit of an uptick. 628, both the STEs are going to be dueling out around the power grid area. Downward Gaming, after a successful foray into that last match, it looks like they're going to pop a shot towards Freak and send for the hills.
Now, Enigma Galaxy's not having the best game last time around. I think that was because most people realized how strong Pachinki was, and then they got absolutely just battered by so many teams who also went to that area. Genesis Dogma came in, and we know how good Genesis Dogma can be on Erangel. Unfortunately, you know, it's funny the way their position almost hampered them because they were further into the circle than Bigatron was, but that also meant that in the meantime where MS Chamburi were rotating, Cryptics had free reign over that field side, and Bigatron weren't in view, but Genesis Dogma were. So you go down because you have the better position, which seems unfair, but it's something you do have to consider. And playing out in the blue outside the circle is actually a very viable strat a lot of times, especially when you know that location of the circle in the first place. The Infinity down towards Chumacera, looking to move up early with Cryptics once again playing on the outskirts. I think after the last game, they've got themselves a bunch of points on board, so they should be sat fairly pretty now.
We were reviewing the points totals for the Infinity in general, actually. I mean, going back to the Infinity, I know you're talking about Cryptics, but going back to the Infinity, they've topped the tables for both Super Weekends so far, right? Both Super Weekends, they have had the best weekend out of anybody. They are sat 65 points ahead of Genesis Dogma on 385, and they're on track to kind of do it again, Blank. I mean, sure, that first game wasn't super great, but they managed to get, I think it was like 65 points yesterday. And so if they can keep doing that day on day, they're on track for another 160-point week.
Yeah, and it's funny because whenever we see the Infinity on our screens, it's either them getting a chicken dinner or it's them getting defeated quite handily by another team. And getting that done to you by Reject, it just odd. So I think that sometimes they do get into a state of being flustered, I would say, which is rough.
I think I might have fibbed to you about the second week. I think Genesis Dogma did just eat them out the points totals on week 2.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, but I don't want to correct you, considering you are such a smart man.
Yeah, well, even the best of us make mistakes. Not that I'm the best, but I am the best.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. Just for today. Just for today. FaZe moving through just underneath Picardo's side. I think that, yeah, I will again go back to that point that for FaZe on Miramar, they tend to be very good. Once they get elevated into a position, it's again that standard story of FaZe, which is not too much aggression, but just enough to hold on to a position that they hold. And usually that does win them games on Miramar. I like to see it. It's good stuff. Nova over towards Graveyard at the moment. You know, they've been having fairly okay time of it on Miramar recently, getting towards the top spots. Again, they do play the low ground quite frequently, and I think that's because of some, awkward rotations for themselves, which does make their late game slightly more difficult, but it does mean they get to late game. I think that's the main thing.
And that's in general how you get that consistent point scoring situation, is getting to that late game. You pick up 5 points, you finish top 6, and you're getting the points that you need per game to be looking good to get into these finals as well. And that's really what you're kind of looking for. As you get top 6, you're likely going to be hitting those averages.
Yeah, and that's all you really need here in the Super Weekend, is just qualify to that finals. That's what this first 3 weeks has been all about, is just qualifying to the PMGC finals and start racking up some money there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you want to see. It's all about the cash. No, it's not all about the cash, but it's a little bit about the cash. It's it's certainly a lot to be playing for. With the top spot taking home, what is it, like? I think
a lot of
360,000 or something like that. Something around that. That's a lot of money. And I mean, even 16th place, you get like $5 grand, which is nuts, right? If you just have to qualify here, you get $5 grand.
Yeah, it's a massive chunk of cash for these teams, which again, and I've said this in most tournaments, is like that can be immediately reinvested into infrastructure for your team and can make you even better. And I think for a team like Reject, a team like Damwon Kia, it's me making shots onto Divine. For Damwon Kia as well as Rejects, where their regions are rising in popularity and getting more infrastructure in place in terms of tournament structure, that kind of cash can be absolutely invaluable to you going forward into the future. So I think that this is a great starting post for both these teams if they can make it in. MS Chumbury equally as well. Honestly, having such a ridiculously good time, surprising absolutely everybody. I'm very, very impressed by MS Chumbury's performance.
Yeah, they've done phenomenally well, and as you say, that reinvestment hopefully going to be on the cards for them. But Blank, it's not only about that money earning potential. Well, I mean, even though you look at what you get when you qualify for these finals, there is the chance to go to the global finals, right? Right at the end of it, there's qualification spots still ahead of you to take on the champions, the winners, the top spots from the West League as well. So you have got that extra stage, and that is also money earning potential. So it increases in value almost exponentially.
First, you got to make it to that top 9. First, before that, you got to make it to the finals.
I know.
What we're determining
I'm
here.
so excited about the future. I'm just thinking so far.
Yeah, future is looking good. It's looking bright. Xavier at the moment, future's looking slightly bleak, and they need to actually pull up the performance just slightly here. Starting that off strong on Miramar, taking down Nova. Again, though, rotating on this southeast side is always difficult because you're going past Reject, you're going past Genesis Dogma, as well as FaZe. All very good teams and teams that like to hold others out. I think that, when those teams put up the hand, push you back, you tend to fall over.
True, that's what happens. Certainly if someone's kneeling down behind you as well, which can always be the case in PUBG Mobile. You never know what's around you unless you have your wits about you. I have to see what more presence they can have. DXavier, they spot the reject rotation. Reject losing a player to the Infinity. Infinity a little bit peeved, apparently, about going down in the fight to Reject last time around.
Which is fair enough, all right? I mean, we were literally just discussing that, like, they are a very, very high-scoring team. 385 points is not easy to achieve, to be honest with you. Like, almost hitting that 400 cap at the moment. There would be a great achievement to hit that before the end of the Super Weekend, which I think is very doable for them. But I think that the Infinity, sometimes there's just those early fights that they need to get past. And once they're past that, everything is easy from there. So it's almost like that for the Infinity, they're cycling up a very steep hill at the beginning of the game, and then it's all downhill from there, and they just start rolling.
But this is the thing, right? Even if that is the way you play, in these long form sets, that's great, right? Like, if you're getting to those later games, sometimes, as long as you're doing it enough of the time, if you do it 30% of the time and you're getting 15 to 20 points on those attempts, that makes up for the other games that you aren't making it to those points. And even if you are getting a couple of points to get those games, that's just bumping up the totals in general. And I feel like they have got this long set format down. The question is, in those finals, can they keep it consistent?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a difficulty. Luckily for them, there is a 2-day break between the last day of this Super Weekend and the beginning of the finals, which will take place over 3 days. So for the Infinity, there is time to reflect, time to discover things about yourself that you didn't perhaps know before. I think for the Infinity, it's going to be a lot of review for this team coming through, and that's okay. I think that if you are prepared as the top team to put in the review after the game goes down, put in the homework, that is a sign of a winning team, right? And I would expect all these teams at this level, at this global stage, to be doing that in your spare time.
Absolutely. I mean, and even if you're sat at the top, you know, like you're beating everyone handedly, if you aren't looking for your own weaknesses, someone else will be. So if you aren't covering those up, they will be exploited. So it's definitely necessary, but they're certainly in a better spot than some of these teams, especially towards the bottom. The main teams that we're paying attention to now, I mean, Bigatron have leapfrogged over that Tong Jabao barrier. FaZe, Damwon Kia, Deadeye's guys, and DXavier, those 4 teams, they are really sweating it out right now, Pack.
And they need to. I mean, it needs to be an athletic performance going forward, purely because the sprint so far is going to be so very long. This isn't a case of someone calls 10 seconds and you have to run for that 10 seconds. We are calling minutes at the moment. And it's all about that grit towards the end of those minutes. Can you push through those final moments when everything is hurting, everything is in pain? It's those final moments which are more important than absolutely everything else. So when we get to those last 3 games tomorrow, that is when I'll be looking most closely, because it is when everything is against you that you have to stand tall.
A Potso shift comes through, 4 rivals get curtailed there. MS Shonburi pop in those pop shots with Pop. That's a lot of pops. Could be bubble wrap, but it's not.
We see this so often now. People are like camping the top side. So Action stops just a little bit, and I think he will have heard those footsteps. Fabian gives the game away. Oh, he's just trying to Spider-Man it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he wasn't. I think he wasn't aware. Actually, wasn't aware that there was a player up the top, and I think that peak came through at just the wrong time. I think he was a little bit further over that lip, but just couldn't quite see him, and gave away the silhouette. 4 rivals losing more players. Well, I say more players, losing that player that was there before, but MS Shonburi might have slowed down a little bit on this push.
Yeah, I think for MS Shonburi, you can slow it down slightly. You've got to figure out what's in front of you, and especially when you play up towards the crater fields, as well as El Potso. There's a fair few ridge lines. At the moment, you've got, I believe, 628, Damwon Gaming, and Stalwart all holding that very critical ridge line towards the center of this circle. So it's very populated at the moment. So they have eyes on a lot of the areas around the map. Enigma Galaxy, on the other hand, sat themselves safely within the city of El Pozo, right on the edge, so they have opportunities to leave if they need to, but there's a lot of unplayable space in this final circle, so you're going to see a lot of kills coming through in the next 5 minutes.
Crucial off angle there for an ass to be able to stop the reposition from the Infinity to capitalize on the knock that they found. On the southwestern side, Down One Gaming, slap bang in the center. I feel like this is a great spot for Down One right now, Blank. I feel like they have a really commanding center circle position with a lot of high ground and sight lines. It's going to be difficult to push past them.
Absolutely, John. For Deadeye guys, though, you need to figure out getting into the circle as well as, because at the moment you are gatekeeping one team. It's MS Chumbury. They're a good team. Got so very far in our last match as well. These are some great shots coming through from Shifu, and it's not spotted out until very much too late. Luckily, Pop's able to get back up again. Ponzai will drop back down. I think Pop's just relocating. And in third zone, it's going to hurt, but it is possible to still get players up in this kind of pain.
It's bold for Shifu to be re-peeking onto this team, right? I mean, they know he's up there. If he gets knocked, it's very, very hard for Deadeye's guys to get that player back up and in the mix. MS Chonburi, though, I mean, Ponzai just gets re-knocked out there. It's zone 4 now. You can't res this. Pop just needs to get out of there. The southern shift as well. They're on the long side of this next circle.
For MS Chonburi, this doesn't matter so much to them because they've practically already qualified. And I think for Deadeye's guys, holding this spot when we go down to this zone next, which is an awful circle, to be honest with you, John. Look at the fields that are off towards the northern side. So much unplayable space, and any team that has the ridgeline on either side so far is going to be in good stead. It's difficult to play. Order, tosses the nade over the top, has to get out the way, very low. That should kill him, that drop.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, there's no way you don't go down from that drop. But it is a little bit more resible, right? That's the advantage you have from going down there. Order knew he was done for, had to just push back, and is potentially resible if Nova wants to invest the time and the effort to go for it. Down One now trying to control these rotations against 4 rivals. One of them does get knocked out. Pimburu goes up in flame. Potential for more as well to be found. The reload comes through. The spray down onto the pickup. Not quite going to land the damage. And get away with it. Just about 4 rivals suffering on this push.
I mean, Appy's in a really awkward spot now as well because his vehicle, I believe that the tires were blown out in the process. You see Deadeye guys trying to fly in, but they're heading directly into Nigma Galaxy's position. Luckily for them, Nigma Galaxy is fairly split at the moment, so don't really have a massive opportunity to help their team on the back.
Fabian, I mean, I don't think you get away from that unless there's someone suppressing the line, Fabian. Ooh. Ooh, gets away with that. Just about. Bigatron taking on FaZe, and they are trying to stop FaZe by the looks of things. Infinity as well have the pinch. FaZe just cannot get in on the southwest side. I feel like there's no way they get further here, Blank, on the southwest.
No, I think for FaZe, it's going to be hard for them. They weren't able to get to position early enough. MR5 goes down, and Bigatron currently holding up that spot. Genesis Dogma equally trapped between 2 teams, so they're suffering a little bit of their own poison here, with DXavier right in the middle. Genesis Dogma really have to play this one out. I think with Boom's going down as well, now just down to Nickel. It's difficult, it's really difficult.
It's tough times. Certainly not the best of spots. Deadeye's guys, they spot the 4 rivals who will go down first. But now the north side is a little bit more clear for them. Deadeye's guys, I mean, it looked like they had a really tough time, but they are 4 players alive, Blank. 2 eliminations already, and they have a large part of this northern circle. Sure, there's a field ahead of them, but this is better than maybe we were expecting for them to be able to get from that position.
Getting in here is a really big achievement for them. I think it's one of the hardest things to do from that northern side, especially when you're out in the blue in the first case, and there are so many sight lines coming through from Down One Gaming. Now the circle has shrank, though, Down One Gaming's got to be a lot more careful with these peaks, because if one of the players, oh my god, the Infinity, okay, I take it back, much less like a flash in the pan now.
Wow, wowee. 3 eliminations now, stepping up to the plate. Bigatron getting rebuffed. Only Luxy now left in their original compound on the southeast side. Next circle popping soon. It's the north that I'm worried about, Blank. Those teams at the bottom of the tables, both of them very close to one another. Deadeye's guys and Down One.
Cryptix, Lazy Boy, Nathan, oh my goodness me! I've just seen the circle directly down towards the southeast.
Ooh.
Enigma Galaxy need to finish up this fight now and start moving.
Well, there you go. Cryptics just get taken down. Lickety split. Enigma Galaxy on form in the fight. But a difficult maneuver ahead of them on the far western side. They have the tempo to get there, but it is a long haul journey.
Xavier very lucky. Currently hold a compound on that southeast side. Genesis Dogma.
Huh?
Bit of a tricky spot.
Infinity just got sniped. Enigma Galaxy just got sniped out by one of the Infinity players there. It's unfortunate. Sorry, I jumped in.
That's okay. Fair play. Damwon Gaming taking shots from 628. Both in similar positions. Sunan's got a great overlook at the moment. He's very much split from the rest of his team, but this does protect the rest of 628 from that push.
Infinity. Nuzi's just on a tear with this K9. He's terrorizing these mountains, Blank. He just took out FaZe, the last player that they had, Beer 11 out in the blue. He's been healing for a while. He does go down eventually. Xavier, I feel like this is their chance to really jump up the tables.
I think you need to consider what's happening over here, John. Sunan has basically single-handedly really ruined the chances of Damwon Gaming by himself on that hillside. It's a very smart position to play, and now he can regroup for the rest of his team, knowing that this northern side has been critically wounded.
And there we go. They lose Forest out in the open as well. Can they get any further? That's the question, really. Sure, 628 have been stopping them there, but MS Jonburi in the open fields looking to curtail them further. I think one player now standing for Damwon as they have to leave a very sticky situation. Infinity clashing with Rico Infinity team over on those hillsides in the background. You can see that going on there. Finally, 13th place. That's not ideal. Only the single point. Daoshi, I think the backpack, yeah, he's been spotted. Shifu gets the frag.
This is very good news for Deadeye's guys. I mean, taking this compound from 6 to 8 would be beautiful for them. It'd be a great start to the ending of this game. I mean, coming from where they did, like, it's not easy. Luckily, the Infinity are still locked in combat with Rico Infinity team, but that is ending fast.
Wow. And then they didn't even take a knock as well. The Infinity are on form this Miramar, Blank. They are terrifying. 10 eliminations already. Double digits with 11 teams remaining. 24 alive. That's 20 potential kills for them. To be able to find those eliminations would be phenomenal as they continue to pour on through. Nova going down.
I think this is it. Like, this is the little uphill slope that the Infinity have to get up, and then once they're there, it is downhill rolling. And with this circle shift, it favors the Infinity, it favors Bigatron. And Bigatron not done yet. I'll tell you that now.
I mean, they have only got one player with Luxy. I mean, sure, it's not easy, but they won these Miramars before. I'll tell you that much. I think Deadeye's guys, keeping 4 alive to them is a testament to how much they want this.
Right now, 6 to 8 have to perform very well. It has to be a tight fight that they have with Deadeye's guys to make sure this happens. I think Sunan's just trying to clear out NC2. Enigma Galaxy Freak, though, they were in position on that northern side of the circle to take down any players from the Infinity. God Tunny goes down. Look at this. Yu Yang versus the group of Deadeye's guys. 5, 6 eliminations. It's looking strong. This is a strong move from Deadeye's guys, and it's a good beginning for them. Yes, it doesn't happen on the first map, but the second map is just about as good.
But their next challenge, Blank, is moving through the Infinity, who are on an absolute tear right now. Though they have just lost a player, you know, it's a little bit easier now. That opening has been found. As MS Jonburi go down, eliminated. A little bit of a split there, but Nikhil's gone down, and it's just a bot for the Xavier to handle, and they will be able to do so. Excellent nade coming on through. Duck dunks it.
Deadeye's guys take 2 knocks, I believe that is now. Going down. Nova's on the floor. 2 flushes. Turu loves Sir. We've seen how much work this guy's been able to do before, but you're right, the Infinity is just too tall of a mountain to surpass for Deadeye's guys. They will go down there. 6 points. Not amazing considering what they were able to do here.
I feel like that they deserve more in this situation, Blank, but the Infinity, what can you do? When they're on form like this, there is very little to be done. But hang on a minute. It might have just turned all around. Mela last standing all of a sudden. 6-8. They've been spoiling everybody's day, Blank. Newsy fallen, now just Mela out in the open. Does have a little sliver of the circle. Newsy very much unresable there. There's no way you get back to it. And just like that, it's turned all the way around.
Sarah, nade in hand, tosses it across. It's wide though, unfortunately for him. Stuck looking for this one. DXavier, they know how desperate they are for these points. Getting to a top 5 on Miramar is a good start, though, for them. And with 10 eliminations, goodness me, you can see how hard these guys towards the bottom of the standings are fighting for their place in the finals.
With a 31-point differential as well between DXavier and Tongjabao. That's the benchmark that they're really looking for. And this could be a whole chunk of those points that they want. 5 teams remain, and the placements get taller and taller and taller. 33Z looks for Nick the Galaxy and gets one. Freak down on bended knee now.
First day goes through. Enigma Galaxy down to just one. There's an impossibility to res Freak back up. So it's DXavier with the most players in the lobby with 2 somehow. 33Z will take down the final player, but it's the Lord to fall to a nade from DXavier. They continue to pump those points through. The Infinity, DXavier, Reject, and 33Z from 628 are all that remains here on a barren Miramar.
There is no cover, only the scrubs to play around. I think as soon as Sara launches this nade, he's dead. I feel like they have to know this is coming from these bushes. And Lamborghini's already cleared out one. Dropping the Molotov to try and suppress that ridgeline, but yeah, there he goes. Just gets dunked down or Reject eliminated. Great news for DXavier. They pull up 12 defeats now. And they're starting to move through open ground. 33Z in the circle, but Mela has to move further. Crawling with the zone at his back and actually spots up 33Z. This is great news for the Infinity, but Mela spotted across the way. DXavier trying to get the spray down across the way. The strafe is good, but Mela hits the deck. We'll be alive for a little bit longer. There's a good nade. It's a lot of damage, and it's a little bit more from Lamborghini. DXavier pump the numbers. They are striking out towards those top 16. They want these finals more than anything.
Those forearms are looking strong, as they do indeed pump those numbers up. 29 points on that game. That puts them 1 point away now from Tongjabao. What a good start for them. They are looking good. Again, catch up, maybe, but at this point it's really just about keeping those numbers going, because they have kind of equalized themselves with a lot of those teams towards those top placings. And Tongjabao, I do not think they are making it through the Super Weekend alive.
No, it was 3 of those 5 teams below them that needed to leapfrog them. I think Bigatron managed to do it last game. I don't know if, I think it was a 30-something point differential between DXavier and Tongjabao at the start of this game. But with that game, I feel like DXavier are nigh on the door here. And with FaZe Clan so close, with Deadeye's guys as well, getting closer by the second, I think you might be right. I think this might be the final bell tolling for Tongjabao.
It's unfortunate. They started the tournament off with one of the best PUBG Mobile matches I've seen in a long time, and they looked so strong. But it seemed that the circle look was all they were really known for in those early moments, and from there things started to look bad for Tongjabao. It is unfortunate to say, but we have to continue to watch how this Super Weekend unfolds. But again, Damwon Gaming, DXavier, all looking to try and move up. Deadeye's guys, again, we said this match that they deserved more, and they absolutely did. It was not an easy push from that northern side, but able to make it happen anyway was impressive, to say the least. And I definitely have hope now for Deadeye's guys.
My God, it's looking tight towards the bottom there. It's going to be really, really close to see. Not well, Tongjabao, we don't think they're going to be able to make it, but everybody else is fighting tooth and nail for those spots, and it's only going to get bloodier, more bruised, and more brutal. Let's head over to the desk.
Point as a tiger indeed here down towards the bottom of the table. But DXavier, we got to start talking about them, obviously. A massive, massive match for them. And I feel like we haven't really been able to say that, honestly, in quite a long time, Colors.
Yeah, extremely important. I mean, they were in a compound close towards these circles, and then from there, they have challenges like Stalwart as well as Genesis Dogma passing them by, eventually moving into this circle and getting themselves a lot of eliminations along the way as well. I think the compound that they had afforded them great lines of sight on a lot of the teams that were kind of clustered against this roadside with not too much cover for them to speak of. So it's nice to see Lamborghini and the boys drive into victory.
Yeah, I mean, like leaving that compound can be quite challenging, but with that landscape, that the two sides of the road, like being able to shoot at each other, allowed the Xavier to enter the final circles. But of course, at second place, we've got the Infinity entering and grabbing these points, a massive amount of points in a very different fashion. They fought their way in. They have to, breach teams like Full On and take 4v4s again and again. So it's a very different way of PUBG that we've seen there. But that circle was just brutal, to be fair.
You know what's also brutal, gentlemen? Every team I predicted so far has pretty much gotten 0-1 points. So it's been a very brutal day for me. And we all know the show is about me. No, I'm just kidding. It's obviously about the teams and the players here. But damn one. Again, like after the last match, they need to show some consistency. They are, I believe, bottom of the table completely right now in overall standings in our Super Weekend. And at the rate they're going, they're just not going to make it into our finals here. But one player that will make it, Infinity. And Newsy in particular. 1,100 damage. I mean, I feel like every day we've done a show here for PMGC, he's been an MVP at least once.
They were blasting on this west side of this circle. And I mean, like, when you look at some of the scalps that they were taking, even far west, shooting at some of the teams that were not even in their zone of conflict, because, I mean, their big rival at this point was Rico Infinity, that they just steamrolled over and have now breached that 400-point mark up towards the top. It was, Newsy was looking pristine.
Yeah, and looking at... Actually, go ahead, Tarzan, because we can all read.
I'm sorry, no, sorry. That was just my natural reaction to the consistency from this team. I think when you do the quick math, like there's no team like them, obviously, but the gap is so huge, like across, and the way that they play. We thought Starwood could match. We thought Genesis Dogma was close, but now that you look at it through all these games that we've played so far, there's no match. Like, and they just keep going, and they still test things.
Well, looking down the list here, Deadeye's guys, 18th place. I think realistically, it's gonna come down to, and you guys correct me if you feel like I'm wrong here, but it's definitely gonna come down to like the final matches tomorrow because of how close, how tight everything is down towards the very bottom of the table. And again, over towards the top of the table, it doesn't really matter if you come in first, you come in 16th because you'll qualify no matter what. There's no change in prizes or anything like that. But it is at least a good stepping stone to know how you rank up against everyone else in the lobby. But for you guys at home, again, remind you another time about the treasure box you guys can currently pick up here. If you're watching in the Esports Center, you're watching over on YouTube, you'll be getting points you can use to unlock a permanent item between the 30th of November and the 21st of December. But also here on YouTube, if you scroll down, there's a rewards button. You click that, you're going to get yourself some even more points towards this. And then coming up right after this, on the 22nd, we got even more rewards. And Tarzan, you went with the pan. Cars, you went with the gun. Yep. I would go with the outfit. So together we would make full...
The full package.
Yeah, full package, yeah.
That's right, that's right. Jason, these are called treasure boxes, but can I dig them up like a pirate?
You can try.
Oh, okay.
But it won't work.
Ah, damn.
This ain't this ain't a pirate game. This is a Battle Royales game, all right?
Oh, okay.
Moving on into our third match today, we got Erangel coming up next here. And of course, Sanhok and Erangel once more. And we obviously need to get our predictions in at some point, so hopefully we're thinking about these ahead of time. But I am wondering, Deadeye's guys, this team has just been, again, kind of non-existent, unfortunately. And I mean, if we remember back to the first week of play, they qualified in 16th place by 1 point over Bigatron. Technically, they were tied at points, but they had one more placing point than them. This team, unfortunately, just hasn't really, I don't know, like hit the nail or hit things home. Hasn't really shown too much improvement over these last 2-3 weeks.
No, indeed. And our current question is which team will get the most kills today? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not Deadeye's guys with the current form that they're showing here. It's going to be difficult. I think that right now they are one of the teams that I do foresee going out, not being able to make it to that final here in East, unless something amazing happens on the other side of this. But that's not to say that they're a bad team. Of course, you qualify for this stage, and yeah, that's admirable enough. But hanging with this lobby is a very different thing.
Very different indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be heading to a break here while we get things set up here for our third match of the day. So we'll see you guys in just a few minutes' time.
So far from the leaderboard. Into the side of those buildings, misses the nade through the window. Struggling to make the entry now into the UMP.
Help! Reject Duello.
Ow! Somehow Imperium
Sorry.
stays alive for the time being. Oh, Fredo, that's not a good thing at all. Was it Max? Well, Max, how do you like that?
Well, Caleris first.
Yeah, Max. Fine, how do you like the gap to the top 4. Attacker and Longs, but they just might be arriving straight to their doom. A Molotov taking so much damage as well, crossing from Nick with Galaxy of their teams. Freaking Lord, he can never count it. He did! Victor just kill for FaZe, and Fredo's getting like, wait. How?
Oh no!
Control of the building, rising.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Nope.
Huh?
No! God! No! God, please, no! Come on!
Oh my god! It's Ragey with the 4v1, taking down the whole...
He came in!
From the grass! Crawling his way up top, Zoxy's gonna find the line on him. And Song, he's just waiting. He's just waiting for MSC. Oh, he spots Zoxy! Oh, he's just waiting for them to eliminate each other. And he's finally gonna strike the moment. Zoxy gets a knock. Zoxy's found it. And now it is all on Song to make this happen. And he came in from the grass. And Song steals the chicken dinner away from everyone.
Wait for Stalwart and FaZe to somewhat engage on each other. They get in that vehicle and they wrap around the underside. It could work out. The one thing that's going to stop them is Beer 11, who's flanked on the outside.
Allow action to stay alive. That's the next one is a Molotov, and
Oh,
it's
that's
spreading.
perfect.
Oh, top! He can't even drop and roll. He can jump into the water, but that's not going to quite pan out for him.
Tries to stymie the flow of Bigatron players as they move forwards. Gets a cheeky little angle as Lapis goes down.
Yeah, I mean, for Yuhai, he has been the one leading this charge at the moment. Zuxi finds Divine, and now it's just a matter of time before the rest of Reject do fall. I think BTR realize they need to do something quickly, but it's Ragey Osio to find the double.
The man of the hour, he's found one, he's found two on the spray down. He's found
Oh
three,
my god!
four.
It's Ragey with the 4v1, taking down the whole of Bigatron. He strikes back.
And 3 players fall. Your dream might be denied. Bamboo is low. Jumper has the nade. It's looking good. A good cook. Oh, just needs to go a little bit longer. Finds on the back, and Bamboo falls. Team Secret wrested away from the higher ground control.
But they are in the most uncomfortable spot amongst the 3.
How many times have Nigma been put down to like 1 or 2 players and they're still up as a full squad? I know it's impossible for the likes of Infinity or DRS to push on them, but that's incredible resilience.
They're going to be holding off the entirety of DRS, pushing in onto this onslaught now. Knock has taken place. Just going to be falling on top. This is a very smart play. Oh no! Oh no, Nima!
Oh, sie kommt inside hier von erstmal Poliana. Nice. They could move closer. They could try to stick together. They find the revive coming from those stereotypical locations. Yeah, boy. So we saw these teams drop on by. No, don't do it. Don't save it. The paraglider is useless, okay?
Valor, though, in a position to maybe receive yes, open arms Ragey in a battle of his own.
Roger that.
Wall does get done. Will get down. Back up.
Help me!
Roger that.
Sarah, in the meantime, has managed to push all the way up. But it's the holdout coming through from the Deadeye's guy, straight through the window. Plants them.
Just starting to make their way outside of Pachinki, which I would argue is a little bit too late. A couple of teams were like helicopter! Helicopter! Extended for more, and I'm sure others will join in on the mix
helicopters ever? Time's safe. Helicopter, helicopter.
It was at this moment that Nathan knew. He up.
No!
For this flame path, going from Primals all the way up to just between Civilian Star. Hang on a minute. I don't think carpooling is a thing in PMGC. Oh! Again. Oh! To the side, get to the tree. That's your cover.
Get over here!
And get your teammate involved.
I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation if you're Sitar. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves, got the PMGC out there. He looks clean. He's right over the top of the car.
I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now?
Magic Man himself, Sitar. But in comes another player to try and what for, and this time, oh, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, dodging cars is one thing.
We are back here, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to hop into our third match of PMGC 2021 East League Super Weekend 3-Day 2. That's a lot of numbers coming your way, but that's what's going to be coming up here, and we cannot wait to find out how things are going to break down here in this second to last day. It's a penultimate day, and things are starting to really heat up towards the bottom of the table, as we mentioned before. But again, I want you guys actually here. I'm going to change things up a little bit. I want you to talk about a team a little bit going into our third match of who you'd like to see to step up, but maybe also go back into who you think is going to have the most eliminations in the day. And we talked a little bit about it. I'm leaning towards Newsy, because you know what? Why not?
Oh, eliminations during the day. Well, I mean, the problem is, Jason, is I have the numbers right in front of me at the moment, so it's not exactly helpful. I mean, I guess I'd pick the Infinity as a whole. Well, we're picking team or player?
Player.
Okay, well, currently I'd go with Senke. There you go. Because he did have 10 kills in that game. Come on.
Okay. It's a little cheat, but, you know, makes sense. It's understandable. What about you, Tarzan?
If someone picked Newsy, I feel like I want to pick Daybot. But obviously, as a team, they have not been doing as hot. But obviously, he has the ability, and maybe they will still find the time to wake up and play better for this Super Weekend.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right, well, we are moving into the third match, and are we pretty much just all in agreement that TJB, no chance anymore? Like, they should 100% be out?
No chance.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be nigh on impossible to defend the position that they're in currently, especially with, you know, some of those teams down towards the bottom already being within like 10, 20 points here or so for TJB. It's sad that we're probably going to be saying goodbye to them here, especially since they had such a good start to the tournament as a whole. But yeah, it's slipped. It's slipped.
Yeah, I mean, that game was important. The first two games were redistribution of points. I think like a lot of these teams at the bottom are getting decent points, and that is just going to make TJB feel terrible. I don't think there's a chance, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think the weird part is as well is the fact that we've had TJB playing 2 Super Weekends, Nova played in two Super Weekends, but that's because of how, I guess, terrible. I mean, I'm not gonna pull my punch here. How terrible that first week really was for TJB, and well, it's unfortunate, but you know what? That's what's gonna happen if you can't perform when you need to. And obviously, with the caliber teams we do have, they are pretty damn insane. And maybe we'll see them back next year, and we'll obviously more with PEL coming up next year as well. But reminding us once again, OnePlus of our sponsor with its flagship performance and immersive 120 Hz display and hyper touch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 9 Pro, your best shot to climb the leaderboards, and maybe your best shot to get your predictions in correctly. My prediction, as I'm gonna throw to right off the bat, Genesis Dogma, still not choosing the same team over and over again this time, but my predictions have been pretty damn bad, so I don't really have much faith it's gonna work out for them, to be honest, in this match.
Yeah, don't worry, Max will be back tomorrow. I think you know, we'll see. You guys will have a contest.
He's been good. He's been good. I'll give him that.
He's been all right. for once in many years. I'm going to go with Stalwart. I have faith in them significantly. They looked great in their, I think it was the final Erangel of yesterday, where they won that out near the warehouses. And yeah, we'll go with them.
Okay, Tarzan.
6-8 this time. I find the change of dynamics around the Western Bridge very interesting. It's almost like we were waiting for Reject to do something, but they finally did, but 6-8 were the better one in that scenario. Maybe that's the routine.
I feel like every time you predict 6-8, they win. So we're going to find out here. We're going to have our commentators for the first time today at Pyramid Blood. Take it away.
Thank you, Jason. 6-8, all right. Every time he picks them, they do seem to win, which is interesting. Maybe Tarzan has certain powers we don't know about.
Of course he does. He's got magical powers. He's a mysterious guy, but you know, if you get on his good side, he can bless you in all the right ways. Just like this plane path isn't really much of a. It's not really much of a blessing to these teams. Very southerly based, so it's gonna see obviously a lot of teams that like to go up towards the northern side have to scale their way up there. The fight for vehicles is on. Look through in the overall standings though, that win from the Xavier in the previous gameplay, it was a massive result. They couldn't ask for a better result. It's jumped them into that golden 16th spot, but they need to follow up. They need to do more. It has to be a level of consistency that they get to really show in the PMGC East.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's something which is going to be kind of haunting a few of these teams as well. Still at the bottom of the table overall. Obviously, we have the likes of Bigatron and FaZe who have definitely stepped up things quite a bit. I do want to touch upon what the Dusk mentioned, and you brought this up yesterday as well, Baron, that Tangio Bao. I think it's a certainty now that their particular position, it's untenable. They're not going to be making it, which is unfortunate.
Yep. It is unfortunate, but it's really a result overall of their own doing. When you go all the way back to the very first league week, and they won the first game of the day on both of the league week days, they had set themselves up in a strong way, and I think they had shut a lot of people down in terms of doubters, but they failed to really adapt. They failed to evolve throughout the tournament, and they ended up getting drowned out. We've seen other teams, multiple other teams, including the two other Chinese representatives, step up. And yeah, okay, Nova didn't make it through to the second Super Weekend, but that's just Nova doing Nova things. It's tradition at this stage now. But we have seen them really kind of step up a lot more heavily in terms of recognizing when they need to rotate. We've been very harsh on the likes of BTR, and they've adapted in a big way. So as much as, yeah, it's sad to not see TJB make it in, it really is their own undoing, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, your fate is in your hands, and unfortunately, a few of these teams, they really haven't been able to kind of deliver on that front. One of the teams being the team we see in the distance. We saw Deadeye's guys, a team you're very well versed with. I'm very well versed with those boys as well. They've been around for a while.
Yeah.
What's missing here? It's not like they're at the bottom or anything, but there is a certain, I guess, a bite missing from this team. Is it
Definitely.
Like, are they wary of taking fights, or like are things not clicking, or is it just plain bad luck at this point?
No, it's definitely not bad luck. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's very little to do with bad luck. I came into this game, or even into the previous game, with an idea of this is a call to arms for Deadeye's guys. It was going to be aimed towards the Xavier as well, but they've kind of proven that they have what it takes. Deadeye's guys, you need to start to play big, really big. You came into the PMGC with a bit of a chip on your shoulders, being aggressive in the first couple of days, taking every single fight that you could. And I recognize that you scraped through into the first Super Weekend heavily based on kills, but you still got there. But since then, Deadeye's, you've stayed passive. You played a little bit too fearful. You haven't really taken enough fights. Yet you've been sluggish on your rotations, and you've gotten caught out. If you want to make it into the finals, you've got to step up. Every single other team around you is. The Xavier, even Down One Gaming, Cryptics, although they haven't had the best of starts in the third Super Weekend, in today's games, they performed very heavily. But where are you, Deadeyes, guys? Where are you? What do you have to show us? Show us what you have got.
Show me what you got. They are in Rozok, though. You didn't ask where they are. Sorry. That's terrible.
That was so bad, man. That was so bad.
I do apologize. Listen, like, it's the first game of the day for us, you know. I haven't really had the opportunity to really kind of like flex my vocal cords yet. So
True.
Yeah, my brain is a little sluggish as well. You know, hopefully the jokes will get better and it won't be as cringy as that was. Taking a look at a few other teams though. I'm looking at DR's position right now. I mean, they're reasonably comfortable sitting, I think, in the 10th place. But at the same time, right, there's a small little voice in the back of my head. I'm like, Rico Infinity, Cryptics, Nova, Bigatron, the Xavier, FaZe. These are all teams who could, I mean, and bear in mind, we're not even halfway through. This is the halfway point of the final Super Weekend.
Yeah.
There is a real chance that they could actually surpass the amount of points that DRS have accrued. And if either Damwon Gaming and Deadeye's guys actually wake up and start really elevating themselves, you know, when it comes to the final few games remaining, I'm just gonna say it. I think DRS and Team Secret, it's still not a guarantee. You look at it and you're like, yeah, it's pretty much a guarantee, but I still see a world where all these teams each, you know, individually have like one good game for, you know, for the Xavier, one really good game for FaceTime, one really good game for Damwon Gaming, and then DRS are now sweating bullets.
Mathematically speaking, it is possible. Mathematically,
it's improbable. I know.
It's possible for DRS and Tunics and Team Secret to not make it in. However, when you have the giants such as Infinity, you have Stalwart, you have Nigma, and the teams who are already made it in, still performing excessively, there's only so many points in the game. There's only so many points in a day that are available. And for all of those teams below you to get the needed points to surpass you, it's logically not going to be the case. So I do understand where you're coming from, but I had quite a few messages on Instagram from DRS fans going, oh, are DRS safe or DRS safe? And I said, look, if DRS don't make it into the PMGC finals, I will shave my beard. That's how certain I am of that being the case. Just because, you know, logically, you know, we've seen Infinity grab the chicken dinner. We so far in this Super Weekend, we've seen so many other teams step up to the plate. Nigma getting a 30-point game, Nova getting a 31-point game. Okay, Nova are one of the teams that are kind of behind DRS, to be fair. But my point is, it's just not looking like the teams below are doing enough, really, across these games.
Listen, I would love to see DRS make it, but just to see your baby face shaved clean, I would, you know, there is a bit of
we're meant to stick together, man. We're meant to stick together.
But we're sticking together. I just want to see it. Okay, I think it'll be hilarious. Anyway,
where's your bet to shave your to shave your hair, man? To cut your hair off.
Well, listen, I'm not. I'm very averse to risk. I'm the sort of guy, you know, goes to Vegas.
It's fine.
Yeah,
you're
and
scared.
I just go to
I suppose
restaurants.
you're like Team Secret. I get it.
Okay. Oh my lord, are you calling Team Secret cowards? Is that what?
No. I'm simply alluding to what you said in the previous day. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Moving on. Swiftly moving on. Our stalwart esports, who are also swiftly just abandoning their usual position towards Novo. Obviously, Zone isn't going to be favoring them. They have left Top behind, although I believe he should be following the rest of his teammates. For Infinity, it's a usual, right? They're going to cross the bridge, they're going to hold on there. Now, do they proceed deeper in towards maybe Pachinki, maybe heading towards Gatka, or just hold on the bridge, just on the off chance? And there is still a slight chance that Zone could be shifting further south. Is it
Southwest?
Okay.
So
still a chance.
Here's the thing. Even if the circle had gone northeast, I would still have recommended Infinity to have guided themselves around the western side, Quarry, kind of ferry pier area, because it's a less congested part of the map. As it happens with how this phase 2 is shifted, it's a little bit more important that they get that kind of rotation off quickly. I understand why they might hang around this area to possibly catch a couple of teams off in the east. However, they're going to be doing their own bidding, right? If you look at Stalwart at how they're reacting to that, they recognize that, wait, we're going to get to the edge of the circle. We're going to have the Xavier, we're going to have BTR, we're going to have Genesis Dogma in front of us. We don't need to take that fight yet. Let's stay in military base until phase 3 pops up, and then we can decide what we want to do. Very intelligent play from Stalwart. I really like that.
Yeah, and just the way they're falling back right now, right? Like they're so on the That's one thing I love about this team, and quite a few other teams of a similar nature, right? The adaptability, the thinking on their feet, and you will see a few teams here in the lobby. I'm not going to name any names where sometimes when things don't quite go the way they expect things to go, they kind of start to freeze up. You know what I mean? They just freeze up. They're very unsure. They just turtle up, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna stick around here. Like I'll give an example, right? Like it's a 4v4v4, and then you have Stalwart Esports. And what does the other team do? They all just lie prone, lying in red. If you do that, Stalwart are probably one of the most dangerous final zone teams, right?
Yes.
And if just lie prone and don't take the fight to them, they're just going to make quick work of you. As we do have a bit of a skirmish breaking out. Cryptics, who have really impressed us thus far, having to go up against Rico Infinity. And it's going to be the battle of Ina, Marshall on top. Sprays, not quite able to get the knock to Prestige, comes out on top. And that is going to be the first casualty. Fortunately for Cryptics, though, the rest has taken place.
But here's the thing, why go for that push if your teammate's getting res? You know at that point that you are in no way supported by your teammate. Silly stuff from Cryptics. There's no point. You either take the fight or you go for the revive. You don't try and split that focus. It's never gonna work. Yeah, okay, technically it was a 1v1, but realistically Rico had far more back-end support than Cryptics in that moment, and they've allowed Rico now to open the door, push push Cryptics away, and it's just a silly team mistake overall from Cryptics, and it's although they're performing well today, it's a big part of why they have, for the most part, been struggling in these super weekend games. Nice play though by Rico to get that kill.
I was actually kind of thinking he would try and just bait out, I think it was Prestigo there, to peer over the hill, so his teammates could maybe.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, but like you said, just overcommitting there on that particular fight, where it becomes 50-50, not quite panning out for Cryptics. Although, the other three members will escape unscathed. And both Rico Infinity and Cryptics, the only two teams right now out in the blue, although that being said, they're pretty close by. Cryptics taking the longer route. They're going to be taking the Western Highway, just, skirting the edge of the beaches and trying to maybe make their way into the next zone through Quarry, perhaps. So the zone has shifted.
Oh, boy.
And it's an interesting one. There's a little bit of land you can see there where, there might be a couple of boats around.
Ferry Pier, I expect 3 teams minimum to full send it to that city or to that beachside resort, if you want to call it that. Infinity are already pretty much there. Reject are going to get there. Possibly Genesis Dogma, but I would understand if Genesis Dogma feel comfortable holding on to that Ferry Pier north side, but they're going to have their own company in the form of MS Chambori and Down One Gaming. This is where the teams up in the north, like, look at that variable rotation coming out from BTR. They recognize in the past they've rotated directly through the east on towards that Ferry Pier Hill, and they've gotten caught out massively. They very rarely have been successful on that rotation. This time around, they're going for a much deeper rotation. They're taking their time because they know that so many other teams are going to go a little bit more panic mode. They're going to take each other out, and BTR are going to be able to clean things up all the while. It's a good start from Down One Gaming. That full send in on towards the dips of the beach line, they get a kill onto Nova.
Yeah, they just full sent Jimmy as well. Jimmy's probably wondering, is like, wait, what's going on? Why are you guys just charging on in? And yeah, quickly put into the ground. A couple of them have taken a bit of damage, so they should be patching themselves up. And nearby, a nice little patch, green patch on the beach. We have FaZe Clan with their little vehicle fortress alongside an abandoned tank. And now, Dig Xavier, another team, full sending. However, they're going to be going up against the Infinity. And that always makes me worried for any team who goes up against that particular lineup.
Frankie's down to around 40 health. All 4 inside it, but Duck sends it on to Mela. Takes him down with an iron fist. Like a judge with the gavel, just slamming it down, saying, "Not today." Judge, jury, executioner in the form of Xavier, off the back of a fantastic chicken dinner. In the previous game, I said they needed to follow up with another strong performance. Yeah, okay, it's still only 1 point, but in Ferry Pier, where you really have to stake your claim, plant that flagpole, really good stuff from Xavier. Like, look how, like, justifiably, and I don't disagree with Infinity doing this, but that's the automatic space that Xavier created because of that strength of the team push.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way they just took it. Like, they're like, we're just going to come charging in. Doesn't matter who we're going to be going up against. We're going to take this to the compound. Order is far, far away from his teammates. Nova are just split so far.
Yeah. Why are they going like one by one by one? You lost one player, right? That's fair enough. If you're going to make that rotation, do it as a full team. That's really weird. It's like you're asking to get 0 points in this game.
Yeah, so strange. The other two players, though, they are very much well entrenched on the eastern side of Quarry, so they're not quite out yet. You can see the next circle shift. This is how things are going to get interesting. For FaZe to move on in, Enigma Galaxy could ruin the day of FaZe unless FaZe opts to go for a more, the central pathway, just skirting around Enigma Galaxy. But that means Damwon Gaming and FaZe are going to eventually start exchanging blows. But right now, Rico Infinity exchanging blows with Cryptics. They still haven't. They're not quite done with Cryptics yet. And they're just making them bleed El Chapo. You got to patch himself up. But from on top, Rico Infinity, they should have a free reign over the couple of members, or rather the one member of Cryptics remaining here. The problem is, of course, they eventually have to make a move on in. And already, so many teams have occupied that northern, like the top half of that circle.
Yeah, exactly. This kind of northern, northwest side of the circle, just outside of Car Hill, is a very important part, and I would argue they need to forget about El Chapo and just worry about their position then. Prestijo pushing a little bit closer to the edge of the circle, but BTR as a 3-person team have been able to stake their claim on towards a corner, so to speak, of the circle. Deadeye's guys push in. They have a player knocked. A revive isn't coming out as King finishes off Shifu. Just 2 players left for Nova, Powerboy and King. They've held on to this compound, I believe, in the last couple of circles. They moved their players from this position. Damwon Gaming found a way into the compound that's right beside 628. And I was thinking coming into this circle shift, outside of how Reject deal with the eastern edge, it could either be a Reject or a 628 win. But Damwon Gaming getting into that position, it could also be a 3-way dance. And Damwon Gaming, they need every single point they can get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and that's going to be in the back of their minds. I love the confidence coming into Damwon, for the way they stalk the beach, and then now Newsy, okay, Infinity, they're like, all right, we're here to claim our house back. I can only see Newsy, but he's got his couple of teammates nearby. That's almost a nice nade there. And for Xavier, it makes sense for them to hold on to this particular house, but it's not worth it if they're going to get pressured so much, because it's barely in the zone. And eventually, the zone is going to shift. And even if it shifts close by, the odds of this house still being in the zone, I don't know if it's really worth them just doubling down here.
Has to be this 3-body push from Infinity onto Xavier, though, if they're really going to take this fight. I understand why Xavier is staying there, because I understand your risk, but I do get it with this situation, but Reject are allowing themselves to encroach in around them, and whoever wins this fight are probably ultimately going to lose to Reject in the end. Ray Joseph is there waiting in the wings for a cheeky third party.
For me, it's more like Infinity could just wait outside the house and gatekeep the Xavier when they need to make a move in. So that was what I was thinking. But Duck able to hold off the onslaught from Newsy. Makes quick work with him, and he is going to get dropped the zone. He's got quite a bit of damage. Well, and Infinity are just getting absolutely slaughtered. I love that. Well done by the Xavier. I love how they didn't just stick on around inside. They immediately evacuated premises, and then Infinity were like, what's going on? And suddenly they get completely wrecked. But speaking of wrecked, Doc gets taken down, Lamborghini falls, and God Tunny is living up to his name. Rabus is so very low. A sword block coming in for God Tunny. Oh, but Frankie denies him. The 1 versus 4 from God Tunny. It was almost there. He could basically taste an Imperium. What an attempt.
But that's what I was talking about with Ray Joso came in with a sweet nade to get that knock. We move in to a compound which was once held by Nova, but they're nowhere to be seen. Wiped out of this lobby with 2 eliminations. Rico have been like bodies possessed on this western side of the circle. They recognize that they lost the high ground to BTR, so they're like, okay, well, we need to play the flat train. We enter into the building. We're still not in the circle, but we take a move by move, and the fact that they still have a full squad up with 5 eliminations speaks for itself. Great adaptability from the Mina side.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As the rejects nades have been incredibly precise. Sarah, though, almost getting taken away. Satar, look at the nades just popping over. The kill feed is just HEs, high explosives, knocking players down into the ground. This Enigma Galaxy, they are in a world of pain. A couple of knocks, a couple of finishes has taken place. Just the 1 player standing NC2, and there are a multitude of teams all around nearby as the Xavier going for a very, very dangerous rotation. Frankie, the final member surviving for his team. He does find some I don't know how he found this house. I don't know how he's alive.
Hey, look, you make it work, you do it, Lone Wolf. Let's see what he can do in this center circle position, surrounded by down 1 game in a 6-8. On the Ferry Pier hillside, MS Chambori, Reject overall coming out on top as Jensen's Dogma are eliminated. They go down with 1 elimination. Rico Infinity now pushing up on towards BTR. Luxie is knocked. The revive came out onto Zuxi, but UI only with full health up.
1 player remains for BTR, and quickly they will be finished off. Rico Infinity are on a warpath. Zuxi, the final member, but he gets taken down.
Clean.
I do believe, was it 4 rivals who got the final knock? No, it was Rico Infinity. Clean stuff. You called it. Just brilliant stuff. They're on tear right now. 8 eliminations, all 4 alive. Damn.
Yeah.
And I don't mean Damn One Gaming. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate that, because their next challenge could actually be Damn One Gaming. A nade from 6-8 will connect onto Tony K. Looking to be stolen away by Fadan. Is there anything sweeter than a normal elimination? It's stealing an elimination away from another player. That's a double knock by Fadan. Rico, what is up?
That angle they have on face is illegal. And now 4 rivals. Come on, 4 rivals. 6-8. Challenging them. Finally, Frankie will fall. He was by his lonesome as 4 rivals come and occupy the house where it's now occupied by his corpse. And 6-8. They were trying to be cheeky, tossing in a nade. But, and they actually managed to find it. I think the vehicle exploded and 4 rivals. 2 members knocked down. But Damn One Gaming unintentionally coming to the aid of 4 rivals, at least for the time being. In the meantime, though, FaZe have been eliminated as 6-8. They managed to find a knock. Rico Infinity, 11 eliminations, but Damn One Gaming they seem to be holding their own against them.
Oh, just like that. I understand the crash from Rico Infinity. There's nothing really they could do about that, right? They knew their journey wasn't going to last too long, which is why they were playing on the western side, which is why they were being so aggressive and trying to pick up the kill here, kill there, squad wipe everywhere, and Down One Gaming shut them down. 4 rivals in over 60 PMGC League games so far, including all of the league weeks. 4 rivals have gotten 1 chicken dinner with a double knock executed by 6-8. It seems like we're gonna have to wait for their next one.
Oh no, 4 rivals. They always come so close. Daoshi, getting a little too overeager. Never mind though. Somehow Sunan comes in, free-firing around the corner. The res has taken place, but 1 member Rithal, he's gonna just stick it. He's gonna try and stick the revive. This could actually work out. Yes, and the third party coming in now, and 628 having to take a battle of two fronts. Zanon, he can spot him, but the res has taken place. And
There you go!
They come bouncing back, punching back, swinging, and Sunam now left alone in a one versus two. Yeah, got the res in Pembru as well. Rithal looking for the final knock, and 4 rivals from the grave. They somehow crawled away back out, and 628 now, 1 knock away from being eliminated.
Well, let's not forget about Down One Gaming. They're still up as a full squad. They're waiting on the western side. The cheeky third party could come and miss. Sunan realizes he can't really do much about it. He has the time to get the revive onto his teammate. Action Jackson for Stalwart. Still up and fighting, breathing as he cooks an aid towards the house. Maybe could connect on the 4 rivals.
At this point, 4 rivals have to be zombies, because they were 6 feet under. They had no business staying alive. And all 3 up and running now, but as he said, Action. Always dangerous. And with him sneaking in this late from behind, 4 rivals, they seem unaware, and there you have it. A perfectly lobbed nade from Action. Now 4 rivals, they know where he is, and Action's going to be lobbing everything. He's got nothing left, by the way. So for him, it's about trying to maybe get a couple of eliminations, rack up a couple more points for his team.
Oh my god. He's got no helmet, no vest.
628 pushing in, though. They're trying to take advantage of the fact that Action helped them out. And Sunan comes charging around the corner. There's still another player. They're inside 4 rivals. Rithal, he gets the knock on the 33Z. It's a 1v1. And 628 finally, they claim the final standing member of 4 rivals. And another chicken dinner will be denied. And look at Damn One Gaming already in a rotation. They want to just finish this as quickly as possible.
I don't think 628 knows that Action is there. I don't think Down One Gaming knows that Action is there. But Down One Gaming know they have the body advantage.
Down One Gaming. I love the timing on this, but yeah, you said Action could actually somehow help out 628, but a well-placed nade. Oh, it does a bit of damage. But still, 628, 2 members still standing. Down One Gaming slowly encircling them like a constrictor. And they also have Forrest on top. Now, unfortunately for Forrest, Action is behind that little house, so he won't really have an angle. I think he spotted him. No, Action still behind, still lying prone. He's waiting for Sanan and 33Z to be finished off here by Down One Gaming. And looking at the number of nades are lobbing in, one will finally find them. And now Action left in a 1 versus 4. He's got no health kits either, and quickly Uni will finish him off as Down One Gaming up a brilliant game coming up from the South Koreans. But man, I feel terrible for 4 rivals, dude. Like, holy hell.
Oh man, I really do sympathize with them, because I think outside of the games in which they have failed to win in the past, I really think like they did a strong job of trying to take control of their result. Sometimes it's not going to work, but I think the fact that they tried in this situation speaks a lot. For a team that are super safe into the finals, I think this final Super Weekend is the perfect time to try and push yourselves massively as a team and be that little bit more aggressive. Take those extra risks. Me, you, and Max were talking about it, and he kind of echoed that and said that they should be pulling out these kind of moves. And as much as it didn't work out, I appreciate it. But let's not forget, Bled, this was once again a massive game for a team who are fighting, and I mean fighting, for the top 16 spot. The South Korean representatives, Down One Gaming, had a half-decent day yesterday, but the chicken dinner today is big stuff, especially off the back of the Xavier's win in the previous match.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And you can't, and just the way they played it, right? It's sure the zone did favor them a little bit, but just they know exactly when to take the fights, and they look lovely. Rico Infinity as well, the MENA team, just on a warpath, right? And they were looking fantastic until they finally came to an end. So yeah, overall, just a good game for a couple of teams who really needed to rack up those points. Stalwart though, is somehow able to get that second place. I don't know how they somehow managed to just stick around till the very end.
And it probably could have been a 6-8 chicken dinner if it wasn't for that third party from Stalwart, right? Because they had done a great job of getting the initial kill onto 4 rivals, but they also made the mistake by Doushi pushing in on his own, and then he got caught out, so it made it a little bit more difficult. So yeah, tough game all the same. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely a banger of a game. We still have a couple more games remaining, but before that, we're going to be jumping with onto the desk, Jason and the boys.
Into the desk, onto the desk, within the desk. We're just going to the desk. That's all it's going to matter here as we talk about Damwon and the fantastic victory they had in this last match. And again, points that they desperately need to make sure they can get in the top 16 and hold on to this position. We're going to start to talk about them right off the bat, actually. 7 eliminations. Again, we start to see 11 in their very first match of the day. But at least seeing here, they can get those eliminations and close things out that chicken dinner.
Yeah, I might not be able to bow to our South Korean overlords just yet in terms of getting themselves the championship down the line, but they're keeping themselves alive in this tournament, absolutely. 22 points is big. And Tarzan, we were looking at the moves and how they were making things happen here. They were at Ferry Pier. A launch towards this compound with, I probably suspect, not that much information about who was in the Longwoods, but it's the winning play. Even though it's a bit risky, it is the winning play down the line.
Yes, it's an initiative that counts, right? The ping pong shift down south, then back up north. They were the first team that made a move outside to leave therapy. Could scout a little bit more, but no, like it was okay. They found the opening and they held Rico away when Rico was hot that game. Right? So that is a much needed win. Will continue to add some changes to the bottom of the leaderboards.
You know, I think, gentlemen, there's 3 things in life that are guaranteed. I mean, everyone always says death and taxes, but it seems to be always, 4 rivals, they're going to get a chicken dinner, and then they don't. We always bring it up when we're watching, and then they seem to crash. And we saw there, I think it was 6-8 that just completely swarmed them at the very end, dropping them. You see Sunan going to be the MVP with 6 eliminations and 914 damage. And, 6-8, Clarus, you're talking about, like, the position that they were playing from, they just know how to play it so well. And it's reflected in the eliminations they're able to get.
Yeah, actually, to be fair, Tarzan was probably a bit more emotionally invested in the 6-8 push. What do you think about it, Tarzan?
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen them win. Of course, they were also the prediction that I had for this game, but they also won a game around that compound before, right, Clarice?
Yeah.
We were on the desk on that day. It's like Imperium mentioned, it's the mechanics of that push that really wasn't good. Like there's a lack of patience when it's so basic in a way to really be close enough to be able to trade, but far apart to not get naded or something. They're just trying to achieve too many things when they have a lot of time to work with. So yeah,
4 points between 15th and 17th place between Damwon, Xavier, and FaZe Clan. It's really to come down to these teams and what's going to happen in these final matches coming up tomorrow. Deadeyes, guys, I mean, there still technically is a world where they can qualify. The problem is, if you look at the points they've accumulated here in week 3 compared to the teams above them, they're just not matching up at the moment.
Yeah, they're last right now in this week, which obviously is going to hurt them in the long run here. It was, somebody say it was Imperium bet that DRS wasn't going to qualify, or he would shave his beard?
He's going to shave his beard.
Yeah, but they're gonna be fine. I wish we could just change it to him saying about Xavier, because they're still not safe. A very weak bet, I think, here from Imperium. Weak.
You know what? If Infinity don't qualify, I will shave my head, wax my eyebrows, and get a piercing through my tongue. You know, I don't know. Yeah. Not too much of a stretch there, but I mean, it'd be funny if it happens. And also for you guys at home, speaking of not too much of a stretch, you guys can get some points to get some permanent items unlocked for yourself. And that would be great, because who doesn't love permanent items? But also, after the 21st is another box coming your way. So if you're watching within the Esports Center, you're watching here on YouTube, you get points that you can use to unlock these permanent items. And even on YouTube, down below the stream, there's a rewards button. You click that, you get even more points. So make sure you guys are doing as much as possible to unlock every single one of these as you can. Maxmen, swing that pan at us. We can't wait to see. I want to see you and Tarzan go head-to-head, pan v pan. Who can hit the other in the head? I think they're both going to miss for quite a long time, to be honest.
Yeah, just like their predictions, right?
Well, I mean, again, Tarzan's predictions have probably been the best out of all of us. I think Max has been the second best, and I'm probably the worst. If
I just want it to be spicy, all right?
It's true. And Max does have glasses now, so he gets plus 10 accuracy. So now he has 0 accuracy because he had negative 10 before. So good stuff.
Yeah. He had a debuff.
Okay. Well, here's another viewer thought for you guys at home to let us know. Who do you think's been the best snake of the tournament so far? And if all of you don't say Sung on that Sanhok
Exactly.
where he wins in the 1v2, then you just clearly weren't watching
It's the
PUBG
answer.
Mobile. That is the only answer to be given for this one because it's kind of been the only snake we've had so far, really, to be perfectly fair. But
I
also,
think so.
we're gonna, I think exactly, yeah. We're gonna head to a short break though. We're gonna get things set up for Sanhok. Things are gonna get hot and moist on Sanhok in just a few moments' time. We'll see you in a bit.
It is oh, do this to them!
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them!
FaZe still in contention though. FaZe up a real possibility.
Really?
I think it really is. Oh no!
Oh no!
It's face down!
No, I'm so
On
sorry.
your face!
I'm so sorry.
Why would you do this to them?
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them! They're dead!
Huh?
Oh!
Excuse me.
He's waiting out.
Just
They
needs to
are-
move forward.
They are out in the open. He's waiting for the tree to provide some cover. You can see he wants to move out to the right-hand side here. He's
we
going
go.
for the shots, lines up, the one for top, looks for the knock and action.
The rabies section inside for you know and he's gonna run right with. Oh, surprise!
NANI?お前はもう死んでいる。
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'm glad to see all of you in chat did say Sung, but I did catch a couple of you trying to be funny. It's not allowed here. This is all serious. We're all talking about the best of the best of the best, sir. I don't know if any of you will even get that reference, to be honest. I don't think Kalaris gets that reference, even though we're about the same age, or exactly the same age. But one thing he will understand is Sanhok is coming up next, and you want to talk about some rotations here, James.
Yeah, we have had quite slow rotations from some of the teams caught outside, even just the first circle. And I think some of the teams need to kind of speed that up a bit. Who am I looking at? Teams like 4 Rivals, who really would love to get themselves a chicken dinner on the board eventually. But I can understand in parts why some of the rotations are slow. It can be sometimes difficult to know exactly where your barriers to entry are in terms of where kind of teams are held up and stuff like that. But the earlier you make it happen, I think the less likely you're going to be running into some of those barriers. So I think you got to be more decisive sometimes on Sanhok, and some of the teams are falling short of that one.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, but like 4 Rivals, they start from trifecta. I feel like that is the great compound to have options, but I feel like they just got caught between the options that they had, and obviously we were still having some very interesting dynamics on that northwestern island. So that is another one to look at.
Would you actually say, guys, that Sanhok is probably the map? I think of how to word it correctly, because it's, I mean, the map that's most crucial to have the cleanest rotations and also the best understanding of other teams' rotations.
Oh, maybe. I mean, it's a lot smaller, right? Like, and having that being said, and your potential of just rotating past a compound, and all of a sudden, surprise! There's 4 people. The reason you need to know about it going in is because scouting is harder on this battleground than some of the others, and you don't have as much time, theoretically speaking. So yeah, you need to know going in as opposed to on the fly.
Okay, let's get our predictions in. I'll throw mine up right off the bat because you know what? I'm already talking and I get the ability to do so. Reject. Don't ask me why. I just have a feeling. And when I have a feeling, I stick to it. It doesn't work out most of the time, but it might work out this time. It works out sometimes. What about you, Kalaris?
I will go with Nigma Galaxy because they already won one this week. I think they're going to get the back-to-back here on Sanhok.
Okay. Tarzan, you've been the most successful out of all of us on the desk. What's your thoughts?
I'm gonna pick Nova, but to be fair, like the reason why I picked them, I want to see not just consistency within the tournament, but maybe from last year's PMGC to this one. Also, just with that one to highlight what may happen in Painan, which we find very weird last time when BTR has a very empty eastern side to work with teams that's not in the lobby, and they decide to go to Painan. So I think if they do that again, Nova can really farm off that and have a great game.
Okay. Well, Tarzan, I mean, you heard what I would do if they didn't qualify. We know what Imperium would do if DRS didn't qualify. What would you do, and for what team if they didn't qualify?
God, I'll need to think about that, to be fair. There's quite a few specific things that I have to think about.
I have an idea.
Probably something about my hair. Okay, go for it.
I think you would draw on a beard and use that for an entire show.
Okay, I like that. We'll think about which team he has to deal with that one. We'll get back to you guys after the break. Let's head over to our commenters, though, because the match is ready to go. And Pyramid Bled, take us away!
You know what, Tarzan? I feel you, man. I struggle growing some facial hair as well. I mean, you have people like Harry, you got James here, you got Jason, and they just, they just got the hairy face genes.
The hairy face, is that a scientific term?
I don't know, alright? Just making up everything on the fly. Anyway,
hairy
Tarzan
face
did...
My lord.
Hairy face jeans, yes. Because you gotta use hairy jeans, right? Because I had long hair, I have great hair, but I just don't have a hairy face. Nova was picked by Tarzan, and I want to see a different Nova for what he saw in Erangel, because Erangel, they look literally like headless chickens. I don't know what they were up to.
Yeah, fair enough. I definitely see where Tarzan is coming from. He always applies good logic to his decisions and reasoning behind what he chooses. And the reasoning behind this fight breaking out is a little bit unusual for me, because the playing path in Sanhok tends not to really have a massive effect. So I don't know why 628 and MS Champori are so close to each other. 33 has got a boogie and will look to try and reposition and possibly start looting up while the rest of his team try to gain control of MS Chambori. The phase one, on a side note though, is heavily down south.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the first times I've seen a circle going that south. We'll get back to that in 68. The action just doesn't seem to stop with this team.
My God,
that's
Pop.
a huge finish coming in. Daoshi against MS Chonburi, who have one man standing, and Daoshi's going to finish up Ponzai. Great stuff coming out from Daoshi. And sure, they lose Yu Yang, but 4 eliminations, keeping 3 alive. That's a great start for the Chinese side.
Yeah, overall, can't complain. They will take that right to the bank, and it's a quick fight. 2 minutes in, so can't complain. Is this a targeted drop by BTR? Is this really them trying to stake their claim to Painan? They never really drop here, at least in the PMGC East.
Shout out to Tarzan. He was actually calling this out. Like, he was talking about, BTR and Nova and why he picked Nova. But, yeah, interesting. And I wouldn't be too surprised. I wouldn't be too surprised. And if it is indeed a targeted drop from coming in from BTR,
it's risky.
It's risky, but I absolutely love it. And like 10 points to them. Like, these points don't matter, but I'll give them 10 points anyway. A little bit of a quiet before the storm, though. BTR lying in wait, looking to see if Nova's going to go for any particular play. And Jimmy, he's got a good angle on them.
It's great angle. It's great angle, but he needs to do something with that. In my opinion, the house that he's in right now isn't really doing anything for him. He needs to be a little bit more forward, and also, realistically, he needs to be making a little bit more noise. Right now, being prone down, not making any noise, is still allowing BTR to focus on the 3 players. They might presume that there's 4 players in front of them, but my point is, they still believe that there's that amount of players, and without making that noise, you're not really creating that distraction. You're not allowing your teammates to in any way get control of what it is directly in front of them. Slow building fight that's going to be breaking out between these teams. FaZe Clan starting to rotate a little bit deeper through this phase 1 circle. It does encapsulate both the mainland and that southwest island quite heavily, even a little bit of water in play. So for now in this phase 1 to phase 2, you can probably stick to that mainland. But I think FaZe Clan might have a little bit of an idea where they could catch out Stalwart on towards that boot camp area. Like the Stalwart already has Pika up on towards boot camp hill as this fight breaks out.
Order just trying to go for some info play. Instead, he bites off more than he can chew. King as well getting knocked. BTR starting to look very dangerous. They know exactly where both the other two players are. The Power Boy quickly finishing off the player. Nate sails in. He will be knocked down. And Jimmy, well, he was trying to provide him a little bit of covering fire, but right now he's got to run for cover. Last man surviving for no. When BTR, they just.
I told you so, Blah. I told you so. Jimmy did. I'm sorry, but Jimmy did.
He didn't do enough.
He didn't do anything in that fight. He took a couple of shots, but that was after the opening knock went on to Order. Okay, he does get a knock on the Liquid, but across the bridge they come, and Zuxi, he's going to be the driving force. Maybe go for the revive. He's repositioned Jimmy up onto the roof. Jimmy goes.
I like how Zuxi just waiting for Luxy to arrive as well. And now they have spotted Jimmy. It's a 1 versus 2. This is doable. He's got the angle. Nate getting cooked. I don't think Jimmy's going to be aware of this. This is such a good read coming in. I do believe from Luxy that Nate detonates right next to Jimmy, but doesn't quite deal as much damage as do it. Wanted the second one, though. It's got to force him out of his position. It's out in the open. And it's taking the fight with Luxy. A fight which should be advantage for Luxy. And Jimmy, for a moment there, maybe he believed he could convert that 1 versus 2, but BTR played that to perfection. They keep 3 alive and they eliminate Tarzan's pick.
And also, like, when you look at how close BTR are to Nova and the overall standings, they're only 9 points behind. Okay, they're now 4 extra eliminations closer to them, but they've also diverted a lot of attention their way in the form of Reject, right? Possibly FaZe Clan. Painan is in the pretty much dead center of this phase 1, so BTR don't have to move for the time being. Short-term victory, possibly kind of long-term loss to this game by taking that fight against Nova. They looked to end it early. It was just Jimmy slowed them down a little bit in that regard, so I feel for BTR in that sense. But I know the Indonesian fans will be very happy with what they just witnessed as FaZe push on forward, looking for a bit of an opening. They might get distracted by Reject, and that will allow BTR to possibly stay a little bit quiet in this area of the map.
This is, BTR. As you said, they took the fight. They came out on top. Just being the 1 man down, especially against FaZe. Look at the way they're slowly creeping up. Making sure every angle is being covered. And you can't forget Reject across the water. Sarah probably spotting a couple of these players. And BTR are, oh no, I don't think they're aware. Liquid's out in the open. Now he's got to fall back to find some safety.
Oh no, Liquid! Oh no!
Free knock. Liquid, you need to get back. You need to get back right now.
Jesus, I felt like a parent watching a kid kind of run towards the road and say, "No, get away from the side of the road." It's like, Liquid, get back in the house. Get back in the house, Liquid.
He's definitely back in the house. Now he's actually in the back of the house as well, trying to maintain as much distance as they can from FaZe. But again, Reject, they could be the one to completely ruin both these teams' days. They're watching what's going on. They can hear some of the gunshots being rattled off across in the distance as well. And they could just swoop in and, oh, he saw Venturas as well. They could just, they know exactly what's going on here. And they're just waiting, just biding the time to pick up the remaining pieces once BTR go up against FaZe.
I don't like the fact that Reject have sent 2 players down to Painan and haven't done anything with that. It leaves that South Painan Hill position massively exposed. 2 players from 1 team, it can rarely cover that spot. It's so challenging for Reject. Sarah and Divine are kind of locked in this spot. Ray Joso and Duello can't really move too far. They just got to stay a little bit quiet. But yeah, you only push 2 players in if you're really going to make a bit of noise. Okay, now they're starting to. Could be too little too late.
Remains to be seen. Smoke getting deployed. Sarah. He also has to be careful. He doesn't want to expose himself on the open because now FaZe are aware of where Reject are. I can see Corpe just scoped in. Trying to see where Sarah and Divine are. And I think Reject probably heard you. Are they sending a player down? No, they're still sticking around. I do wonder what their end game is here. And looking at the zone, they are pretty much smack in the center, and very close by is Damwon Gaming. So if Damwon go up against the 2 players up top in that hill, there is absolutely nothing Divine and Sarah could do to help them help their teammates.
Okay, this is what I like. They got in their bike, they've gone back up the hill. They might suffer enough, they might, but it's on a bike, so it's a lot quicker of a vehicle, harder to hit. Good stuff. Very good reaction from Reject. That Pineapple Hill on the south side is such an important hill control on this phase 2 shift. It now opens the door for FaZe to try and play around that bridge side. Stalwart have Bootcamp Hill on the side note. Rico Infinity moving down there on towards that northeastern edge of the circle. BTR suffers a knock. Corpai opens it up onto Luxie.
Oh, this is the rough Liquid. Got a tree trunk for cover, fortunately for him. I like this for FaZe. They know where one player is. They know where the second player is knocked down. That is Luxie. And Luxie, the only unknown factor. But of course, they have an inkling as to where he might be. As Liquid will patch himself up. They still need to get the res. That's FaZe quickly. Tony K putting on his running shoes, legging it. And I like how they kept Corpe here, right? He's going to keep him pinned down, ensure Liquid doesn't escape, while the remaining members of his teammates are going to kind of swarm them from the sides. Gotta say, BTR, the day's a little numbered.
Yeah, Ventoras gets another knock onto Liquid. Zuxi goes down, so it's just... Sorry, Luxie goes down, so it's just Zuxi that's left up. And if it's not FaZe, it's probably going to be 4 rivals, let's be perfectly honest. And down goes BTR. Yeah.
Yeah. FaZe up, BTR down. But the moment they get the wipe, 4 rivals arrive, and okay, Venturas, that's a hell of a spray.
Come on.
Immediate reply from FaZe.
What I find interesting about FaZe is that MR5 isn't playing, and I know he was IGLing when Corpai wasn't playing, and I presume it's probably Corpai that's IGLing now, but considering they looked overall quite good when MR5 was IGLing in the previous week, I am surprised that he's not playing in what is a massively important day and an overall super weekend. But they know what's going on and turning the team. They make the decision. Let's see what they can do about it. Stalwart catches out Corpai.
Yeah, listen.
And does exactly what FaZe were trying to do to Reject.
I could have a production right now. All right, production, if you're listening to me, just put a camera. Yeah, just leave this camera here. That's all we need. That's the entirety of the action on this map has taken place right here in Pinon. Just leave this camera, and we can just cast off a static camera. It's actually insane.
To give you an idea of where other teams are located, Cryptics are down around this Camp Charlie split, which I think is very risky coming to the end of phase 2. Nigma have a big split to the north of Sami, which I don't mind, but again, coming in phase 2 is a bit of a risk towards me. Downone Gaming did actually go a little bit back to the west to create, as it happens, space for Reject to make it up and towards Bootcamp Hill. So that's, sorry, should I say Pineland Hill? But Deadeye's guys, they played through the trifecta. They're now encroaching up on towards the side of the hill and probably will engage onto down one if they have their sights set on them, if they've been able to get the information.
4 rivals. I did say yesterday that, you know, they should get a chicken dinner before the weekend ends.
Beautiful.
Remains to be seen. Stalwart Esports moving on up. Venturas. He's got an angle on them. He can see all of this. Stalwart are unaware. They are unaware. They're both cooking the day. Oh, this is perfect. Venturas, that is perfect. But he didn't cook it too long.
Didn't need to. Didn't need to.
Okay, but he needs to get his gun out. He gets a knock. An immediate trade and a finish coming from Stalwart Esports. And Tony K from the distance, able to knock down top. I'm sorry, that is Beer 11, beg your pardon. And now,
push on it.
Knocks.
Push on
They
it.
should push. Yeah, they should push on it. It's a 2v2.
A nade. Come on, tell me you have a nade, Beer or Tony K. Come on. It's a clean. It's a clean squad. No, up the stairs they go. That's one initial knock being free pipe come out. A second one has come through. Tony K comes in, gets one. Unfortunately goes down. Beer 11, where are you? Come on, you gotta be there, but too little, too late as Stalwart wrap around the corner and action finishes them off.
There was a window. There was a tiny little window there for FaZe to somehow turn things around and win that 2 versus 4, but unfortunately was not to be. Starwood Esports to keep all 4 members intact, and it's like a domino effect, right? So according to how it's been thus far, Starwood Esports are the next team to be eliminated.
Also, even just like playing into this in terms of the overall standings, 19th to 14th, by the way, only 26 points dividing those positions. BTR, who were in 14th coming into this game, only got 4 points. FaZe Clan, 17th coming into this game, only got 3 points in this game. It opens the door for Deadeye's guys, for Down One, and for Xavier to help kind of bridge that gap, to create the cushion, do whatever they need to do. It's still, of course, a game-by-game basis, but again, with every single game counting, you gotta take the advantage. You gotta be keeping an eye on the kill feed and recognizing that both BTR and FaZe have gone down early.
I'm sure these teams definitely have done that. They're like, yeah, those 2 are out, so this is an opportunity for us to strike. Deadeye's guys still yet to be involved in any action. Speaking of action, though, the Xavier feeling the wrath of Cryptic's Marshall, quickly finishing off Rabbers. Now it's a 3v3, and Duck's position is known. And the nade... Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Unfortunately, not quite able to get the knock. Duck replies back with a nade of his own, but look at Lazy Boy in the meantime, taking fights. And Marshall, okay.
There you go.
He lands a beautiful shot onto I think it was Frankie in the distance. Yeah, and Cryptics, they're just making just Xavier look like plebeians.
They're making mincemeat out of them big time, and Cryptics, I was so worried about them coming into the end of yesterday's games. Only 13 points in yesterday's 5 games, which has been a big turnaround for Cryptics. And out of all the teams that are fighting for that kind of top 16 spot, Cryptics overtook Nova and are currently in 12th place, and it doesn't seem like they're stopping anytime soon. I said that they kind of needed to join back up together in the previous circle close to that Camp Charlie area. They did that, and it's allowed them to control that engagement with the Xavier, but their job isn't done yet. The circle's centered up. Down One Gaming in a good position, so a Reject either side of the circle. Nigma have a 2-2 split down south side. 6-8 are coming in to try and crash onto Down One's position. Deadeye's guys, they could third party this.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100% they could. Let's start with esports. An uphill battle, but it's a bit more of a sideways battle against 4 rivals. So 2 members remaining. And Reject, they were in this very position a while ago. And now they might have to go up against the might of the Mongolians. Although Starwood Esports are going to take the sweet time. Eventually they will have to move downhill. As Cryptics immediately racing just as full setting straight up to the tippity top. And that means they're exposed to multiple teams from every single direction. This is ballsy, but I like it.
They've definitely given information over, but when you do it as a unit, one go, it takes away the time that a team can react to that. Now it's up to Cryptics to be ever proactive on this push, send a couple of teams back. 4 rivals are in a precarious position, so they can't really afford to kind of push on up this. They know that Stalwart are around them. I'm sure they have a bit of an idea of other teams around them. So Pemboru and Worthall are just going to stay quiet down the side of the hill and see if they can find the opportunity to strike onto Cryptics.
Cryptics. Only quite a few to ensure that at least they don't have to worry about 1 or 2 of the directions. Vidan, very tunnel vision on the direction of Marshall. Marshall has got that AWM, mind you. It's not exactly a weapon you usually wield on a map like Sanhok, considering all the CQB skirmishes you have to be involved in. But yeah, Marshall's making it work. And right now, Rico Infinity, they're getting peppered down Anus by Reiji from across. And while this is happening, Cryptics, you said, they could easily pick up steal a couple of these kills away.
Do whatever you need to do, Cryptics. Keep that cushion headed like Nova beat FaZe Clan on the others. Shifu goes down. That's the second player from Deadeye's guys being taken down. They've been playing this game so weirdly. First 2 to 3 circles, Deadeye's guys stuck together, which I get. FaZe 4, they decide to go for a big 2-2 split. It's the opposite way around. You split on the first 3 circles, then you join up on the 4th. You don't. It just doesn't make sense. Now, as the next circle is shifted up north, it makes it so much harder for Turlov and Fragboy to, in any way, enter into the edge of the circle because they don't have the body play to push in. It's so weird to me. And you ask me why they're struggling. It's one of the core reasons why.
They need to fix it very quickly. Meanwhile, 4 rivals. No chicken dinner for them. In this game, I mean, it's going to be very, very hard for them to pull it off anyway. Christina with a very brave approach. I like that, rotating while his teammates provide the suppressing fire. And it's going to push on in straight in Cryptix's position. The ball to this man, but Marshall will knock him down. Great work there from Cryptix, trying to keep Rico Infinity in favor. They're taking quite a lot of damage in blue as well. And Rico Infinity, the day is good, but SK Ton gets knocked out as well. And Fidan, the last man standing. Sankai, he needs to heal himself.
I don't think he can.
No time. He's trying to get the final knock. He doesn't quite find it. And Fidan, by virtue of having the health kits, is able to res his teammates and Rico Infinity. They survive, well, just on 1 man for the time being.
I appreciate that effort, Down One Gaming. Those you to get knocked in my Galaxy. A second chicken dinner in Sanhok could be on the menu. But if anybody has anything to say about it, it's Down One Gaming. Riding high off the back of a chicken dinner in the previous game, could we be looking at a back-to-back for the South Korean side in the PMGC Super Weekend number 3?
I would love to see it, but that nade, I think, just might have ruined their days. Perfect nade coming in from Nigma Galaxy, and even though Regioso is able to reply back, it is not looking, not reply, but rather join in the fray. Things aren't looking that great for Down One Gaming. They can go for the res, though, but you know what worries me for all these other teams? When it's the 6th circle, and when you have Starwood Esports with all 4 alive, that is dangerous.
It is, but they're not in the circle. They're on the smaller side of the circle. They're on the flatter side of the circle. They're on the more exposed side of the circle. And everybody else around them is pretty much looking in their direction.
They are, but first, Nigma Galaxy and Down One Gaming, the MENA side. The South Koreans, that 1 nade earlier from Ralph was able to completely ruin the day. But Down One Gaming, they're all been patched up. They're looking to take this fight. I love how Damon's actually taking fights with multiple teams. Song's going to dock Scry as well. They're a 2-man squad, but they still want to take fights with every single one, seemingly, as Reject will also finally fall. Nigma Galaxy, 2 players knocked down. Freak on 1 HP will be found by Rico Infinity out into blue. Oh, you rat. I love it. And with that, Nigma Galaxy down to just 1 man standing, and that just made Damon's gaming life so much more easy.
Stalwart, 1 player healing in the blue. Infinity, 1 player healing in the blue. 628, 1 player healing in the blue. This is pretty much a free chicken dinner for Down One Gaming. But they take it, and they deserve it. This South Korean side have improved massively over the past couple of weeks. They look quite scared. They were very much a play for position kind of team, which made sense as one of the lesser experienced teams. But every single day, every single week, they've improved, they've learned, they've grown, and also they've shown that they can close out games in a big way. I think I think Down One Gaming have been the biggest surprise of PMGC, and I'm so happy to see them get this back-to-back chicken dinner.
Yeah, a bit of an anticlimactic end at the end there with Infinity being the second team, the second place team, and third place of course being Stalwart Esports, both of them just healing out of the open. Third place was 6-2-8, I do believe they had 7 eliminations at the end, but Down One Gaming, take a bow. I have to 100% agree with you. I felt like looking into week 1, they were very quiet, but the way they've ramped up, and right now they're starting to peak at the perfect time in Paris. They're looking incredible, they're looking very solid, they're able to take fights, they're not being too passive, they're not being too over-aggressive, and if I look at this team right now, I'm like, yeah, if you want to improve in your game, just look at what these guys are doing. They're looking incredible.
I was worried about that one gaming as well, but they've just kind of shut that worry down in a big way, and that's when you look at the difference between, let's say, Down One Gaming and Deadeye's guys, which you can't help but compare as two teams coming into this global champion for the most part, very first time. Okay, Forrest has previously played in PMGC when he was with another team, so I get it. But at the end of the day, the difference is that one has adapted, one has evolved, the other hasn't. Deadeye's guys just have not evolved throughout this lobby. Down One Gaming deservedly so. And like Down One Gamer were coming into today's games in 18th position, 134 points, back-to-back chicken dinners now, so that's a good 50 points, give or take, out of 2 games. That jump up, putting the pressure on the FaZe, putting the pressure onto BTR, I would even argue possibly putting the pressure onto Nova, and never mind the Xavier, although they've gotten the chicken dinner today.
Yeah, for sure. And we touched upon this as well, right? We were talking about a team, how just grabbing their fate by their own hands and making it work. And I think Down One Gaming right now are doing it perfectly. So of course we have Jason and the boys ready to break down that game. Jason, Down One Gaming, they're here to play here.
Yeah, they're here to play, even if it is just rotating generally the perfect position, I guess. But the fact is, Klaris did say the back-to-back in his prediction. He just kind of messed up. He talked about Nigma, the back-to-back Sanhok wins. Maybe he actually meant deep down the back-to-back wins for Damwon. 20 points yet again. I think this puts them, as we were discussing before, 4th place overall in the Super Weekend with 86 points.
Yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm still not willing to bow to the South Korean overlords here, but they're getting there. They're getting there. I think this was the perfect circle for them to strike out at. I think they got themselves the right compound. There was a world where I could foresee maybe them getting a really low elimination chicken dinner here if they don't take that fight straight to Nigma, but I mean, this was enough to be able to push them up quite nicely. And when you're in the spot that they're in here in the overall leaderboards, this is exactly what you need. This was the Damwon from League Play coming into this that we needed to see for them to rise up.
But let me ask you then, I'm going to switch over to Tarzan. Is this the Damwon who's going to place top 9 in the finals?
Not yet. Not yet. I feel like we need another game or two where they have to fight against the circle, more than what they did on the game before on Erangel. That was actually quite good, but there will be more tests to come, and I think there's still a few more steps that they have to make. But points are points. They are looking a lot better. We're talking about almost trailing just a few points behind Nova right now.
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to them, is like, I don't think I've ever seen a really dominating game out of them where they put up like 10 plus eliminations and they get the chicken dinner and they're basically able to handle like every team coming their way. It seems just kind of fortuitous, as Klaris was saying before, in some of the positions that they're winning from. But either way, I mean, we're still seeing Rico Infinity Team heat on. We haven't talked about him in a long time, able to get the MVP from the match. But again, this is what it's all about here, guys. This is what everyone's going to be watching out for. We can see here in our rankings, Damwon 14th place. They have moved up so much today. The pace they're going, if they keep this up, I mean, they have a spot to the finals, and at least they have, about a 2-day window to figure out what to do a little bit differently, maybe going into the finals to maybe break top 9.
Yeah, I mean, this is really important for them. I will say, though, 188 points, despite this brilliant effort that they've shown here throughout the day, it's still not clinched, right? It's still not safe.
Yeah.
So Damwon still gonna have to keep their foot on the pedal here when it comes to the upcoming games. And again, like when we go back to that the Erangel that they got themselves the win on, you're sending towards that compound and don't really have huge information on where the teams are in Longwoods. It was good that they got there and then made that winning play. Likewise, this compound and the circles coming that way that they do, it's still, again, the winning play. And taking the fight with Nigma when they do to cripple them it is very, very important. But I want to see, as you say, the bigger games coming out from Damwon here.
Yeah, I mean, like even looking at Infinity, like they got 12 ranking points without really getting any eliminations at all. And I mean, they're just showing consistency. It's maybe not dominating, but their consistency for me has been dominating. Plus, we've seen them be dominating in terms of Newsy picking up 1 million eliminations. But speaking of picking up things, you guys can still pick up permanent rewards. And funny enough, Tarzan, why don't you talk to us about this treasure box this time?
Yeah, you know what? From November 30th to December 21st, you can watch live in-game and you can grab yourself some great loot. For me, my favorite would be actually that parachute. I think that looks extremely sick with the color combination that I do like a little bit of blue.
But Jason, don't forget, between the 22nd of December and the 13th of January, we're going to be dropping a second treasure box for you, as you can grab yourself an AUG, a pan, or even that lovely costume. But there's also a Google Play card, as well as Amazon Play gift cards available to you. You can choose which rewards you want, as well as those special rewards, Jason.
I like this. Can we just switch jobs? Can you two host and I do analysis?
I have a little bit of experience.
You don't want that. It's from me. I'm just gonna say it straight out.
Well, I put Max on the spot before. Let's put you on the spot here. Why don't you take us through the rest of the stars then?
Of course. And so the final game of today will be on Erangel. Very, very important, because we know there will be some homework to be done after this one into the final days tomorrow. So we're happy to be back onto the big map, and yeah, a lot of pressure on the board.
Yeah, definitely so. Jason, shut up. As well, at home, you can continue in terms of answering the questions that we've got. This time, how many hot drops will we see in the next match? I imagine maybe 0. However, maybe you guys in the chat are a bit more hopeful. What do you think, Jason?
I agree.
Nice. There you go. That's it.
Yeah. 0.
You can pick it up again, Jason. It's fine.
Oh, I thought you guys were going to keep hosting there. And well, I guess I'll pick it up. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head to a break. I got the tough job now. We'll see you in a few here for the final match of the day.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back, everyone. How many hot drops are we going to see? Hopefully you guys got your answers in the chat, because if you are correct, then Tarzan is going to send you a ton of UC over to your account. So make sure you hit him up over on Instagram, maybe, or over on Twitter. It show proof that you did predict the correct amount of hot drops. Tarzan, I heard it was about, what, 10,000 UC you're going to give away?
Sure, why not? Sure, why not?
I'll agree with him.
It's fine. Like today's been a good day. I don't know why. No, it's a good day. It's a good day. So why not share some love? Yeah, hit me up.
What?
Do it.
I'll
take the curveball. I'll take it.
Okay.
I've taken it.
All right, hit him up. I guess give him a follow then if he's giving you 10,000 UC, and he said he's going to give it away to 10 people. So we'll see how that one's going to work out. As we have Erangel as the last map of the day. And this also is the last map of the penultimate day, right? Tomorrow's left to go with 5 matches left to play. Things are getting really crunched up here towards the bottom of the leaderboards, and things are becoming more and more hectic and a lot more difficult, I'd say. But Damwon have at least been able to show us they can get 2 back-to-back chicken dinners. Not a lot of teams have been able to say that so far. Now, with Damwon able to do that, I wonder, Claris, will this maybe change your prediction? Do we have the back-to-back potentially happening at some point? Realistically, it shouldn't. Let's be honest.
Realistically, it shouldn't. Yeah, that will be absolutely mind-boggling. But yeah, for today, it has been I would say the day of the underdogs, right? I mean, you're getting Xavier, double down one wins here. Brilliant stuff by them overall. Like, very cool to see that there is a sense of urgency in the lobby right now. They understand what's on the line.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, what are you fighting for? Like, when you're at the bottom, you need to fight for that qualification, of course. So that leads us back to what we started the show with, right, guys? Like Jason asked us about the middle pack. They do feel like they are chilling, but not really playing the game as the best ability. So I'm honestly a little bit disappointed.
Okay. Well, all right. Okay. That's, yeah, I think I can agree with that to some extent. Just remind you guys really quickly before we do get into our predictions, before the match is ready to go, about OnePlus, our sponsor here at the PMGC, with its immersive flagship performance and 120 Hz display and hypertouch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 99 Pro, your best shot to climb the leaderboards, and maybe your best shot to get your correct predictions in when it comes to hot drops, because Tarzan again is giving you a lot of UC. If you are right, just send him proof from chat and hit him up over on Instagram and Twitter. And I also want to see confirmation that he did send it to you, since he agreed to it on the desk. I don't want to see him back out and lie about it. So it's all up to you guys. You want free UC? You know what to do.
Give me a follow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you didn't say they had to follow you. All we said is they had to just guess correctly of the amount of hot drops.
Okay. No, give it a follow as well. Come on, like, make me feel a little bit better doing some charity. Come on, please.
Okay. All right. Well, hit him up. You know, if you feel like he's deserving, if he gets to 10,000 UC, I'm gonna go get my predictions in. I think, yeah, I get my predictions in, because you didn't say I couldn't win either. But let's move on. Obviously, let's stop joking around here. This is like the last chance saloon for a lot of teams, and you know, Bigatron. I'd say just a quick little recap today. I think Bigatron have looked pretty decent. I was really glad to see Xavier have a standout match finally, because I feel like it's been weeks almost since we've been able to see this, maybe since like week 1. But again, there's still a lot of work to do for these teams, and even just beyond maintaining top 16 and going into the finals, you have so much work you need to do, because 16, 15, 14, like, that's not going to cut it. But let's get into our predictions. My prediction, Enigma Galaxy here in the last match of the day. What about you, Kalaris?
Oh, they've got some decent results. I am throwing caution to the wind because I don't care anymore. We're going down one gaming for the 3-peat, baby. Let's do it.
Okay. All right, Tarzan.
I'm feeling it as well. I'm feeling it. It's BTR. I'm going to pick Bigatron because out of all those teams at the bottom, they actually feel most confident to fight. And yeah, I mean, they dropped on Pinan. It worked out, at least for a few minutes, but that was a good 4v4. Continue.
I'm a little bit sad that production didn't give you TJB, because that's what I told them to give you, and I would like to see you try to argue your way out of that prediction, or to reinforce and support that prediction for a team who's not even playing. But you know who is playing? Our commentators. Imperium and Blur, kick off the final match of the day, boys.
Yeehaw! We are indeed going to be kicking out the final match of the day, of the game. I don't even know what I'm saying. Imperium. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there.
Go for it.
Right before Kilaris picked Damwon, I was about to say he's kind of like the stereotypical Asian parent, where it's like 2 chicken dinners back to back. That's not good enough. Why not 3? Why not 4? And in the end, he's like, yep, you know, if you get 3 back to back, that is the only time I shall bow down before us as our Korean.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they get 3, he won't be happy unless they get 4th.
Yeah, he'll be like, well, what about the first 2 games of the day?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare you? Such a disappointment. But this game is certainly not going to be disappointing, because the playing path is healthy. It's a diagonal direction going all the way from Nova right up to in between Severny, Zarky. So really, give or take, allows his team to get to exactly where they want to go. Hopefully the phase 1 is complementary of that stalwart. Straight on to Nova, early drop, early looting, what should technically be a little bit of an earlier rotation from them as they played in, but this phase 1, not too kind to these teams. It's a big Southwest start to this game.
Oh boy, I love it.
Here we go again.
Absolutely love it. Yep, here we go again. It could go Primorsk, it could be Sosnovka, it could be anything. This circle is very, very spicy. In fact, it could even end all the way up north right next to Rozok, right? So it's a very interesting zone and a very interesting position that Jimmy finds himself in. Jimmy! Gotta do something, and he answers back. Appy having to pick up some bullets there, running out of it, and he's looking to take the fight. Jimmy just toying with his throw, pre-firing around the corner. Nice attempt from Appy, but Jimmy makes quick work of him. Up close and personal, a massive caliber bullet straight into his head.
And honestly, Nova need every single point that they can get at this stage of the day. They are now only 4 points ahead of Down One Gaming. Right? And Down One Gaming started today in 18th position. No, of course, that not only shows how good of a day Down One Gaming have had, but also realistically how poor of a day Nova have had. BTR are only 11 points behind Nova. It's really not the best. And okay, Nova are only 10 points behind Cryptics, but when that cushion between you and the team above you is more than the team below you, that's when the pressure starts building. Yeah, okay, Nova are used to handling with pressure, so I'm not too worried, but just in the context of what we're seeing right now, every single point once again continues to matter for Nova.
Yeah. Nova, they're just they're just a puzzle to me. Like, you look at almost every other team over here, right? And you can kind of know what they're like. Starwood Esports, you know, if I ask anyone to describe them, we know what to do, what to say. Them Down One Gaming, we have a story for them. You look at Nova, defending champions. And then you look at a couple of the games we saw from them where they just looked completely lost. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. And then suddenly they wake up and have these monstrous performances as well. And I think, like, you prefaced everything by saying whatever you did right now about Nova. So it's just such a conundrum where I
get you. Yeah.
Kind of wonder if they know who they are, you know?
Like a Rubik's Cube of PUBG Mobile.
At least Rubik's Cubes are logical, right? You can follow the algorithm, you can solve it, right? Nova don't seem logical.
Do you know, can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
I can just, you know, wing it, and I can do about 80% of it. I almost struggle in the final two phases, but I have solved one just using the algorithm. There's a flowchart where, like, you know, you follow certain steps and you will solve any.
I'm sorry, but I want proof of that. I want a video of you solving a Rubik's Cube.
Fine, man. Like, next LAN, just gonna sit down, grab a nice GMT, sit down, and yeah, I'll solve it for you right in front of you.
Yep. That's it. I'm honestly, I'm so gonna hold you to that. Chat, thousands of people watching. Hold blood to that next time, and the first time I get to meet him, hopefully I land sometime in the future. This game, although, is continuing to go on. Deadeye's guys, Deadeye's guys starting to rotate from Rozok. Thank you to John who chimed in, tagging us both saying all Rubik's Cubes are solvable in 21 moves. That's, yep.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. You just use the
21 or
algorithm.
fewer turns. Yep.
Or fewer, yeah. I usually take like 69 moves or something. You know, it's much more than 21. But I believe in John. John's very good at his you know, stats. Although
he is.
John will never admit this, but I once beat him in this one, what you call it, in a quizzing face-off. Like, this after we downed a few drinks, we're chilling in a hotel room, and yeah, I beat him. Yeah. He will never, ever say that out loud, but...
Yeah, but how many years ago was that?
It's like 2018, 17,
You're
18,
still holding on to it? You're still holding on to it?
Of course I'm going to hold on to it. Yeah, of course I'm going to hold on to it, yeah.
You're still holding on?
Because we haven't had a rematch yet. If we have a rematch, then sure, you know, if you can beat me in that. But I did beat him in that.
Okay.
We had a witness. There was someone...
Worse than Dr. Disrespect with the two-time. Like, you know, let it go, man. Let it go.
No, I'm going to make it a two-time next time we have a LAN.
There you go. That's all I like to hear. Anyway, we really need to get back to this game because a lot of these teams are rotating in through the center of the circle. Nova in particular, but they get caught out by Deadeye's guys. And I appreciate this deeper rotation from Deadeye's guys as a team. And they put themselves in a really good spot. It's outside chopsticks. It allows them to play on towards this phase 2 a lot more effectively. Like, it's not too deep into phase 1, but it's enough where it's a strong position and still giving them rotation potential in the next circle. So will this finally be the game where Deadeyes wake up. Cryptic still yet to move out from North Georgia. Infinity did make it across that military island, across that western bridge onto the mainland. Stalwart waiting until phase 2 is going to pop up. That makes sense with this phase on circle. They did it in the previous game, and I get why they're doing it again.
Yeah, like we saw them like head towards farm, then head on back when they realized how a circle the second one was forming. So yeah, Nova, they unfortunately do lose a heavy hitter for the team. Powerboy getting taken down by Deadeye's guys. And yeah, like for Deadeye's guys, like you are running out of opportunities, right? They are completely running out of opportunities. Now they've got through the right start, as you said, you know, the heavy rotation coming in, early rotation, deep inside, getting a knock as well. But they need a couple of these big games. Like they need to emulate the South Koreans. They need to do what Diamond Gaming has been doing the past couple of games.
BTR have had a fairly successful day. I've been happy with their aggression. I've been happy with their proactivity. This kind of position that they have held on to in the past on towards the kind of southeast Pachinki Hill area. They faced off against Genesis Dogma in the past and they've been burnt. But it seems like they're learning from their mistakes. Gonna wait until phase 2 pops up so they'll be able to react upon it. I loved how they rotated in that game, that they ended up ultimately showing up very strongly on and winning because of how big of a rotation they pulled off from the edge of Pachinki all the way to the outside of the field area. It was a big brain rotation and it worked out extremely well for them. And that's the kind of learnings that BTR have really shown across the PMGC, and why even though we doubt them at times, even though we scratch our heads and wonder what's going on, why they still continue to be the pride of Indonesia, why they still continue to show up. But this phase 2 showed up and blah.
Boy.
You couldn't ask for a bigger kick in the face. And that's why Stalwart stayed in Military Island.
In the meantime, though, on top he went to loot the corpse of Powerboy. And because of that, Damwon Gaming, I like how 4 just lay and wait patiently, waiting for On Top to finish looting up and get into his vehicle, and he gets a nice knock. On Top has that tree, and his teammates, of course, deploying.
Don't go for the revive. Don't go for the revive.
Of
Cut your losses. How many smoke? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 8 smokes being used. 7 to 8 smokes being used. And another one.
Another one. And another one.
DJ Khaled here, you know, like, come on. It's such a waste of smokes. Like, just let it go, cut your loss, and play for phase 2. It's really not worth it. In my opinion.
There's so many smokes there that he just might die from asphyxiation or like inhaling too much. I like this from the Xavier. And almost all these teams are aware, right? You go in from that side. There's going to be Infinity you have to contend against, and now that they're going to be crossing the eastern bridge into blue, they know Stalwart probably aren't sticking around. So this is the right call coming in from both the Xavier and MS Chonburi. However, with the Xavier being ahead of them, they could easily try and mow MS Chonburi down.
Cryptic's going for a rotation. FaZe going for a rotation. BTR going for their standard rotation across Military Island, which is through the direct mainland spot. They already had that kind of coastal line locked in phase 1. They waited, phase 2 popped up, and now they're sending kind of 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, like Noah's Ark, across the water into the Military Island. Infinity, though, helping to get the better of Stalwart. Seems like Stalwart went in a little bit too deep, and they're paying the price.
Yeah, going up against the might of the Infinity. As Pika will be knocked, but in the distance, Scry just gonna... Okay. They're like... Usually Stalwart, they have the... that old saying of no man left behind. They always live by that, but I guess it's the right call. They're gonna peel away because they realize they're not in a very comfortable position to take this fight. And you said it right. Like, if you look at the map, they're rotating around trying to find a spot, but the other teams have arrived. BTR have crossed the water. We have the Xavier coming in from the eastern side. MS John Burry joining them as well. So Stalwart, despite the fact that they were early, in towards Novo, this is a usual drop location, they're not in a comfortable position.
They're really not. Nigma stayed in Pachiki, right up and towards this kind of phase 2 spot, and I don't mind it with how the circle obviously has come about, but Down One Gaming, they didn't push that fight onto Deadeye's guys. They actually took the opportunity on that knock to disengage and reposition into a different spot, knowing that Deadeye's guys were in no way, shape, or form put them under pressure. So I kind of appreciate that with Down One. It has kind of what has seen them pull off bigger games because they've maybe made more sensible move. But then on the other hand, because I'm a bit of an a-hole, I'm kind of like, well, why not push the opportunity to take that fight? But yeah.
I think you're a nice guy, Perry, but hey, if you say you're an a-hole, maybe you are.
At times, man. At times.
All right. SK Ton is in a bit of an uncomfortable position. He knows he can't heal, so he's going to go charging into Roth, and Roth's like, just gotta fall back, and the nade is good. It was a little too deep, but considering how low he was, there's not much SK Ton could have done in that position. So Enigma Galaxy is harassing Riku Infinity, and out in the blue, the other two members, Fidan, with a couple of shots into the general direction of Roth, but things looking very grim for Riku Infinity as Enigma Galaxy is going to be gatekeeping them. Looking at the zone, though, it's gonna be watching Lemmings jumping off that cliff. And when I say Lemmings, I'm talking about Genesis Dogma, I'm talking about BTR, I'm talking about 4 Rivals. They're all going to be going for a bit of a swimming routine. I don't know.
No, swimtation. I actually really like that. I've never used that before. I'm probably going to steal that for the future. Thank you very much, man. Now BTR kind of were already halfway across. I was actually kind of surprised at how slow they were in that rotation. They started it like at the start of phase 2, and they still don't have all 4 players over. Genesis Dogma were there before 4 Rivals, and it's what has surprised me with the fact that they've still lost a player in that, and they don't recognize the fact that you can play on the Eastern Bridge. Like Down One Gaming, they rotated around from that South Patinki Hill spot. They're going across the Eastern Bridge. Of course, nothing is super safe for them because MS Chambori are ahead on the eastern edge, but when you're talking about a sensible, safe, out of sight, out of mind rotation, Down One Gaming, so clean and concise with that one. The teams that did go for the rotations in the form of Cryptics and FaZe Clan, it's worked out for both of them. They're going to be playing in on towards that southern edge of the circle inside military base.
4 Rivals having to rethink their approach. As Riku Infinity, the 2 members who did survive, the Enigma Galaxy trying to keep them pinned in the blue, will somehow manage to make their way inside of the zone towards the northeastern side. But we'll get back to that, because right now, 6-8 going up against the might of the Japanese in the form of Reject, and they don't spot Sarah, and he's going to make quick work of Sinan. A couple of members knocked down.
So
and Duella grouping up together and just decimating 6-8 down to 1 member, and Sarah with a nice little smoke getting deployed as well as Reiji will be rezzed. Now the res is taking place for Daoshi as well. A 2 versus 3, but Duello from the distance knocks down Yu Yang, and Daoshi left alone. This is not looking good at all for the Chinese side.
This is deep into the blue zone as well. The next circle has popped up. Kind of luckily for them, it's gone to the west, so they're not as far from the edge of the circle as what was much higher at risk. But it seems like they're both like, look, we want to commit to the fight. It doesn't matter if it's in the blue. Screw it. It's the final game of the day. To be fair, both of these teams on a side note are like super safe in their like finals position. So they aren't really kind of like losing anything. It's just, let's take the fight.
Diamond Gaming just all 4 players just full sending straight into the middle of the circle. And looking at the rotation, everyone's going to be driving off the cliffs. Here we go. Lemmings, baby. Lemmings off the cliff. As Stalwart Esports will be the first team to be eliminated by Nova as well. Did you know, like, when people talk about Lemmings jumping off a cliff, it's actually not real. And it's based off a nature documentary where the directors actually... No, they forced Lemmings
Isn't that based off a video game? called
No,
Lemmings.
that is based off the original documentary, which
Really?
is like 50s, 60s.
No way.
And yeah, seriously. And the director actually, they forced this poor lemmings to jump off a cliff just so they could film it.
No way.
Lemmings don't actually commit suicide.
Jesus, that's terrible. God.
Humans are terrible.
Thanks for that, you know,
Ruining a
depressing
day.
fact to end the day. Jesus,
Oh, I have
man.
so many depressing facts, but not right now. We'll get back to it later on. I have so many Imperium. You're going to enjoy this. Regioso against El Chapo. Bullets will fly, but the trunk is going to tank all the damage. And El Chapo is just going to bide his time, waiting for the right, perfect, opportune moment to strike. And actually, it's going to be Senkai. It's going to steal the elimination, but it's okay. Cryptics, all four alive, and Reject. A valiant fight against 628, but unfortunately, they did lose too many players there.
That's the thing, like, nobody was really going to win out of that. It was just, yeah, they're fighting in the blue, and whoever comes out on top will end up kind of going down, and that happened to be Reject in that regard. Free elimination for Cryptics. They'll take that as Rico Infinity, BTR pick up a couple of elimination points. Why are you botating there? Really, Rico? Come on, like really? Rotating in between the mainland and the military island.
What are you doing?
Okay, and us. Yeah.
He literally gave Zuxi a sitting target. Like, he literally gave him a sitting target. And it was going to be a free kill for Zuxi. I don't know what's going on, all right? I don't know, but Cryptics, they are duking it out against the might of MS Chonburi. And MS Chonburi, they do have the slight high ground advantage, but Pop has gone down, and that means slight advantage here for Cryptics. They could go in for the push, and El Chapo, I think, has heard me.
Cryptics, one of the teams really fighting for that top 16 spot, say it over and over, but it needs to be reminded that so much is at stake for this MENA representative, the team from Morocco. They've been in the PUBG Mobile scene for so many years, participated in tournaments across Europe, across the MENA region, helping the scene grow, and you're here at the Global Championships fighting, continually improving, evolving. We switch on over to BTR, cleaning up kill after kill on the coastline. The beach side is a bloodbath.
Four rivals. They do have that little beachhead to work with. They even have the drop as well to potential some cover as Damwon Gaming in the distance. Do have a zone uni, needs to patch himself up, and Luxy, aware of where he is as smokes will be deployed by his own teammates. There's not much cover here for the BTR side. It's kind of exposed, pleasant, just, you know, grasslands all around, a couple of trees.
Well, once they make it to this dip, which is why they smoked in between, they're safe against Damwon Gaming. That's where they can focus a little bit more on the rest of the Xavier, and they do still need to continue to keep an eye on that beach side where you have Genesis, Dogma, Enigma, Galaxy, even kind of Deadeye's guys and full rivals.
All right, here we go. El Chapo pushing up, but it is going to be NC2 holding the line. Finds 3. Lazy Boy now left alone. And NC2, Pop, he's going to patch himself up to the 1 versus 2 firmly. Favoring MS Chonburi, somewhat turning it around. He's going to try and go for the res in the meantime, will Lazy Boy, but NC2 and Pop, they can just push in together. Lazy Boy will be spotted, and he will be taken down. What a play from NC2 and MS Chonburi.
Oh my god, that looks so dire for MS Chonburi, but Cryptics bite the bullet, call it a little bit of a choke as Deadeye's guys go down. Just like that. Once again, with 2 elimination points, 10th place, that is 3 points in total. 4 rivals, though, they still hold on to the beach side. I think every single, am I right in saying that every single military island finish has been won by Infinity? If not all of them, then at least kind of the majority of them.
Yeah, but usually it winds up when the zone is on the military base itself. So this is interesting. They obviously have the best position right now.
Oh, yes.
There is a bit of an aquatic battle taking place as well. For rivals, they do have a place to plant their feet and take the fight as MS Chonburi will finally fall. And what a nade. Boom! goes for Rivals. Yet another day without a chicken dinner for the lads over there. And I love Uzi's position here. It's out in the open. He's got cover of that rock. He's got a little buggy as well to make a very quick escape if he needs to. But the fact that Infinity aren't really completely grouped up together really makes the chances much better. But that being said, BTR, they're looking good. Sure, they don't necessarily have a great comfortable position to work with, but with the circle shift coming in, they're going to be the first team in the zone.
And knock on the king will help them. You got Down One Gaming, you got the Xavier, you got Nova, you got BTR. Once again, every single one of those teams are fighting for their lives to stay in the top 16. FaZe went out with 0 elimination points in this game, so that hurts them massively when they were already looking so weak. But you're right about BTR. They put themselves into the circle already. FaZe 6 has popped up and heads towards them, away from the Infinity. However, BTR still need to make sure that they focus on one fight at a time.
Oh, Noah, you're just going straight in the middle of the vehicles. I don't even know how that car is able to handle balls that big. Just full on, just going at it. And somehow they have both of them pretty comfortably safe. The Xavier, however, having to rotate in, and they're quite a distance away. So Down One Gaming is going to have a very comfortable time taking them down, but Lamborghini, by the skin of his teeth, might have just snuck his way in. Never mind, Zoxy will find him, and the Xavier are no more. Down One Gaming, though, can they get the hat trick? They're sneaking up from behind. BTR should be cognizant of this fact.
Infinity are distracting Nova as Nade not concerned to Jimmy, so it's just Order left alive. You have Lord and the last player, Genesis Dogma, still in the water. They can do nothing about it. Logan drives around with the boogie, looks to try and get the confirmation, but it has been knocked down by his own teammate.
What is going on? It's a circus. It's an absolute circus in Order. Trying his best to keep Newsy at bay. He gets the now the 1v1 against Mela. He's got headshot angle, pops around, just tickling away, and Mela not able to land anything. However, in the end, he will fall. Mela clutching it for his team. If he went down, Infinity would have been in a miserable place, but they have lost a member. And now BTR, they're looking solid. They're looking well placed to take this chicken dinner. Not even steal it, just win it convincingly.
11 eliminations for the Indonesian side. The last one goes down of Down One Gaming and calls at 12, and indeed, this is very much looking like a BTR chicken dinner, blah.
Killara's probably just shaking his head saying, couldn't even get a hat trick of chicken dinners. Pathetic. As Down One Gaming goes out. The 4v2, v1, v1. You know, Lord and I think there's ISOL there for Genesis Dogma. They're having a nice one, just chatting, talking about the girlfriend and talking about life, how everything's happened, how everything's going on. And Liquid just trying his best to at least get the finish there. But now, what do Infinity do? They're in the zone as well. And this is an interesting split. Mela up ahead, lying prone, and Logan.
Oh my
Lord! Hi, boy. That came in like an asteroid out of nowhere. And Mela left alone. He can't even fall back and try to res his teammate. Is too far out. And this is looking like BTR winning a very, very well done, well played chicken dinner.
They bookmarked the day. Started it with the chicken dinner. Seems like they're going to end it with the chicken dinner. Yuhai confirms the kill onto Logan, just as Mila left up, followed by Nickel and Lord. And I really love Liquid was behind that rock looking in the water. I think their spidey senses are tingling, knowing what's in the water, hopefully keeping them suppressed.
ISOL. Yeah, just gonna stick around in the blue. They're like, yeah, we're not gonna give you the kill point. And Lord will fall as well. And there you have it. BTR, just one final knock away. They're looking for the hunt. They're looking to find Mela, and Mela will instead be found at the very end. BTR winning a very well-played chicken dinner. I love the rotation. You called it earlier as well. And from the beginning till the end, they looked incredible. All of that being said, I felt like Infinity, I don't want to say they threw it away, but they went for a couple of decisions, a couple of fights, a couple of plays, which I felt it cost them dearly.
Definitely, it was not the cleanest game from Infinity at all. You're dead right, but that does not take away from how good BTR played that game. Like I said, when they pushed into the circle, I said they needed to focus on making sure that they took one fight at a time, and that's exactly what they did. Were they helped with the fact that Nova pushed in onto the Infinity spot, so it kind of isolated those two teams? Yes, but at the end of the day, they didn't go too deep. They knew that Down One Gaming was down towards the kind of southeast. So I think the Xavier still had one player up at that stage, and he was there. They had all their angles covered, and this is the kind of BTR synergy that we overall have been looking for throughout the PMGC. I've always said, and it's no disrespect to Ryzen, but I've always said that Liquid is a better partner for UI than Ryzen is, and I really think that is showing more and more every single game, every single day as we get to the tail end of PMGC East.
What's also happening with FaZe, right? Like, they start off the day, I think, just next to Bigatron, like you said. You know, they've really gone pushed way further than we expected them to do. We've also seen Down One Gaming really step it up, and this has just been there, you know, just there, not doing anything.
They've had a Deadeyes level of day, being perfectly honest. And yesterday was a half decent day for FaZe, but they've in no way form build on that. So I'm really glad you asked that question, because as other teams like Down One Gaming and BTR, 2 chicken dinners each for those two teams, the question is, where are FaZe?
Where are FaZe? I want to leave that question for the desk to handle, as Jason Kaplan can take it away from us.
Is that some weird version of Where's Waldo going on? I don't know where FaZe is. I know where Bigatron is, though, taking out chicken dinners, getting themselves 2 on the day and getting themselves really high up in the rankings, or at least moved up a lot further and a lot more safe, a lot more comfortable as well. BTR putting up a clinic here, and this is kind of what we're talking about when we mentioned Damwon in the last match. Like, we've not seen Damwon really be dominating, and if you needed context of what a dominating win looks like, is exactly what we saw to Bigatron.
Yeah, Bigatron makes a great cross. I do like this cross a lot. I've seen other teams in other tournaments here in PUBG Mobile be very, very proficient with this cross and finding themselves the win from there. It really has been the day of the underdogs. It feels ridiculous to kind of call Bigatron one of the underdogs at the moment in this tournament, but it's kind of true. But the double chicken dinners from them, the double chicken dinners from Down One, it's great to see that these teams understand that they need the points to be safe.
Yeah, like for BTR, I mean, it's probably the most confident day that they've seen they've shown so far, and actually great. It's almost like we're seeing the signs of the past BTR coming back without Ryzen. Of course, I didn't mean to rub that in, but they are playing great. And yeah, to be fair, a lot of those confidence might have come from wins in fights against 628 and Nova on Sanhok. So some of these teams need to rely on other types of ways to motivate themselves, because sometimes when those feelings of good fights were so distant, it's not easy to motivate yourself through.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And speaking of motivation, I mean, right now Infinity don't really have. I mean, let's be honest. They have no motivation to win every match because they don't need to. They're at the top of the table. Yeah. Like, they have a big lead against other teams. I mean, I think they're like 100 points over the next team below them. They can have a little bit of fun with this. And personally, Claris, I feel like if you are them, if you're any of the teams who are for sure safe, obviously putting on a good performance, keep momentum going to the finals is big, but you don't need to stress yourself out at all in any of these matches.
Yeah, sometimes motivation can be such an aggravation. I think for some of these teams up towards the top, and I think there has been moments today where some of the top teams have been kind of having fun. Like, some of the positions that they've been taking have been a bit bold, and then they just try to play from there. But yeah, I think they're very confident up at the top there.
You can see here on the second page, though, as we're being asked before, FaZe 1 point. They've had a really rough day. I don't even know how many points in total they've gotten today, but it has to be like sub 15. So I don't think we've really ever seen them in the front page from my memory. But Stalwart Esports as well. I mean, if we talk about Infinity being as consistent as ever, continuing to put up points, Stalwart, I mean, whether or not they're taking these matches as serious as they would at the start of the Super Weekend, fact is they haven't had that same kind of consistency throughout the entire event that we have seen teams like Infinity or Genesis Dogma put up.
Yeah, I think the thing is nice that you mentioned Genesis Dogma, because actually if you just look at the points of this week in isolation, they are sitting in 15th. out of 16 teams. Like, to be fair, that is the biggest disappointment that we've seen this week. And it's actually so disappointing to the point that we feel like they found a new way to play this game that could dominate and be quite prone to the meta or whatever type of changes that come through. But doesn't seem to be the case today. So yeah, I'm a little bit bummed out.
Yeah, 35 points, I believe, before this last match. Definitely one of the worst teams. Where Infinity have put up 106 again. Enigma put up over 107. And obviously, we have to talk about Bigatron here, as they got 2 chicken dinners on the day. And Luxy, well, 817 damage, 5 eliminations. But I think the greater question is for them, is this going to be a roster they're going to look to field in the finals? Like, is this where they're feeling the most confident and most success of keeping Ryzen out and putting Liquid and U-Highboy in?
Yeah, see, it seems like the case right now. I mean, this isn't... I don't think this is a slight towards Ryzen, to be honest with you. Sometimes there are situations... We know Ryzen is a great player, right? Like, I think that is pretty much undisputed. But sometimes there's moments in a tournament where maybe in a lobby, things aren't gelling quite exactly how they were. Somebody might be going off in a solo direction where another team is crossing over that path and you didn't really expect that to be the case. So maybe things just didn't line up for Ryzen being on this roster right now. And I think Yuhai's been playing great. Liquid's definitely stepped up after he took some games off early on in the tournament. I think the fire was lit under him almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's about sometimes the mentality and theory crafting in creating a roster, right? We have the Twins very passionate. We've seen clips from this team before with them throwing phones and whatnot, but Ryzen's actually about the same. So when it comes to, you know, in tough situations and arguments, sometimes you're just adding fuel to the fire. But, you know, Yuhai's also a great player, but he seems to be a lot more chill, you know, like happy and light. And so those things are very, very important as well when we talk about these comparative strengths and weaknesses.
I do wonder, though. I mean, obviously, when Liquid came into the roster for Microboy, we were kind of questioning whether or not Liquid would kind of just fill the shoes of Microboy, or they adapt to the way Liquid likes to play. And I think the general answer we got was just kind of, all right, Liquid has to slot into the team. But maybe with having U-Highboy on the roster now, it's kind of like, all right, well, 50% of the team, if we play those 4, are not the original core to Bigatron. So should Zuxi and Luxy now change up how they play a bit to field or to help give the I guess star power over to U-Highboy and Liquid? I mean, obviously when you're one person, you're 25% of the team, but when you have 50% of the team, you can throw your weight around a little bit more and be like, no guys, we need to change the way we're playing. And I feel like this is allowing Liquid to step up as a player within the roster, to have that other player come into the team that wasn't part of the core.
Well, I think U-Highboy definitely opened up avenues for them, for sure. I mean, at the start of this tournament as well, as soon as they subbed him in, I was like, wow, okay, wow, U-Highboy is doing a lot of work for them, despite being the sub, and now he's on every single game, right? I think similar to me saying, you know, maybe a fire was lit under Liquid, maybe that kind of the lackluster performances early on for Bigatron was like, okay, Zuxi, Luxy, we're kicking you in the butt. It's time to wake up, boys. Because they've looked a lot better, I think, this Super Weekend compared to some of the previous performances.
Yeah, I think it's also about, you know, how do you unleash a fragger? I feel like Ryzen's more used to his style, and I can see, like, as an esports but like a personality, he's developed, you know, into other things as well, dipping his hands into other things, not just on the game. But U-Highboy is still kind of just focusing on there, and the fact that he's been tested through back in Team Secret, certain roster changes might have molded him to be a more adaptive player, right? Like knowing how to be more fluid, knowing how to really read the situation and see how he can fit into like most teams. And maybe that is his strength. We're not just talking about raw talent when it comes to fragging power. It's his personality and how he can actually read the situation and fit in.
Well, one thing we didn't touch on that we probably should have mentioned, remember, Imperium did make a bet here live on air saying if DRS get knocked out, that he will shave his beard. Right now, from what I'm seeing, you have DXavier at 173, DRS at 218. That is 45 points of difference. It is possible.
Yeah. Yes, it is. At a stretch.
I mean, DXavier just need to get 45 points, or I guess 46, and then you have Damwad at 195, so they only need 23 points.
Yeah.
And then you have 201, they only need 17. Like this, It's getting spicy. Imperium,
know
I
what?
hope you're just getting a little bit
Yeah.
worried because it is very possible. I'm gonna hit up the exam and be like, guys, come on, bring it home for Imperium's beard. Let's get rid of that bad boy. But also, let's get something into your guys' hands. The treasure box. You're watching with the Esports Center over on YouTube. You can get points to accumulate to unlock treasure, to unlock items, permanent items for your account. There's 2 different boxes. One that goes till the 21st of December, and one that goes until the 13th of January, starting on the 22nd of December. And you also get some additional special rewards as well. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you click the rewards button down below the stream to get extra points, and you can get your permanent stuff done. BTR 2 wins. Damwon 2 wins. Imperium's beard, it might be gone tomorrow.
I think it might be, guys. Okay, let's bring out some stats, right, to really back that up. At the start of the show, I did mention when we look at the average point that they've got before, or what they got yesterday, to say the least, around 20-something, 30. A lot of these teams have gotten themselves 50, 60 more points. If they just continue with this trend, just repeat what they've done today, they would have really overtaken DRS Gaming. I'm not joking here. Like, they just need to do as well as today. Mathematically possible. They've done that from yesterday to today. We need to repeat that. I feel like it's going to be extremely exciting. I can't ask for a better second day to really even things up and adding so much more possibilities when it comes to qualification.
You know, looking over in our voice chat, I can see Imperium and everyone already left. I think Imperium is not going to hear any of this, which is fantastic because we all know, and you guys all know home watching, there is a really good chance he's going to have to shave his beard. And we'll make sure to bring it up tomorrow. Don't worry, especially when he's on broadcast. We'll talk about it. We'll make a little sign saying rest in peace, Imperium's beard, you know, from 1988 till 2021. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for our second day of our final Super Weekend. Remember, we have tomorrow is our last day of Super Weekend before we get into our finals of the entire East League. It's at the exact same time. Make sure you guys tune in because you're not going to miss Imperium with a shaved beard.
Tells our story of survival. The challenge will never be over. This is the race, it's not the end. Can't see what's written tomorrow. Some call it fate, but one thing I know, this time I will be in control. I'm caught in the fray, but we'll survive the battle. One for glory. All our brothers in arms feel the fire. We're conquerors, never back down. The battle tells our story of survival. The challenge will never be over. This is the race, it's not the end game. You fight to believe you can win. The world, it won't give you the time. It's now or never. We pick our arms for the battle. It's time to hunt, and one thing I know, this is the moment to rise.